Hello, beautiful. Good afternoon sa inyong lahat. Naku, na-miss namin kayong lahat dahil ang tagal. Mula nang huli tayo nag-HR Cafe. So we are very, very happy to be here with you guys. If you are watching right now, please don't forget to share our episode for today. Tag your friends, tag your colleagues para naman masaya ang ating hapon dahil na-miss po kayo ng HR Cafe. And this afternoon, napakaganda po ng ating topic for this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Pero syempre, bago ang lahat, introduce muna natin ang ating mga cafe servers. Of course, we have Coach Darwin Rivers. Unfortunately, he is currently handling the HR Core Training Program. Kaya medyo hindi muna makakasama sa atin si Coach Darwin for today. But Coach Darwin is a multi-awarded HR executive with more than 20 years of progressive leadership and management experience working with top Fortune 500 multinational companies. He's also the founder and president and CEO of Philippines HR Group or Philippine HRG Inc. and a certified life coach, public speaker, and motivational speaker as well as an HR consultant. Hindi mabubuo ang ating Sunday afternoon pag wala si Mentor Alan Cañete. Mentor Alan is an HR L&D and OD practitioner with also more than 20 years of corporate and freelance consulting experience. He's the president and managing director of Creative Moves Business Outsourcing. He is also one of the board members and director of Philippines HR Group. Ayan. At syempre pa, andyan din po ang ating mentor, Tina Ko, ang operations and HR leader with broad local and overseas experience. She is a general manager for retail company and an online content creator and blogger of tinainmanila.com. She's also one of the LinkedIn top 100 Filipinos to follow for learning and inspiration. And yours truly, Rona Florentino. I've been an HR professional for more than 2 decades now. I'm the president and CEO of Upper Social Geekers. I'm also a public speaker and HR consultant and one of LinkedIn's top 100 Filipinos to follow for learning and inspiration. Ayan. Uulitin ko lang po, huwag niyo pong kalimutan itag ang inyong mga friends and colleagues sa ating comment section and don't forget to share today's episode para naman maibahagi natin ang ating mga matututunan ngayong hapon na ito. If it's your first time joining HR Cafe at nagtatanong kayo, sino ba tong si HR Cafe? Ano ba to? HR Cafe is here to provide you timely news and updates. We're here to impart knowledge and experience that are value-adding and beneficial to our audience. We are also here to discuss problems, issues, and challenges and provide answers and resolutions sa mga maiinit na HR topics. We're here to provide weekly free training with the help of our expert and seasoned guest resource speakers, discuss new technology, tools, and processes, as well as industry best practices. We are also here to bridge understanding between employers and employees and provide inspiration and motivation. At syempre pa, pag merong HR Cafe, magsisimula yan sa wow quote for the week, which is discipline and commitment is a pathway to reach goals and dreams. This is according to Dr. Anil Sinha. Mentor Tina, ano po masasabi mo sa ating wow quote for the week?
Everyone wants to be successful, but many people want to shortcut the discipline and commitment that is required for people to be successful. Sabi nga naman nila, hindi naman kailangan magbayad para mangarap. Pero ang problema, marami sa atin, dun lang tayo sa pangarap. Pero yung gawa, medyo kulang. Madali tayo mag-give up pag mainit, mahirap, napapagalitan na tayo. If there's a lot of obstacles in front of us, We give up so easily. And then we always blame that other person for making us give up. I'd like to encourage everyone to live with accountability. Okay lang na hindi nyo ma-achieve yung dreams ninyo, but let us also never forget our part in achieving that. Kailangan talagang pagtrabahuhin. And sa akin talaga, I really admire those that put in the discipline and the commitment and the hard work. Because sa totoo lang, ang mga parents natin, napakagaling doon. They had a lot less than we did. Diba? Marami sa kanila, walang pera, walang kaibigan, walang koneksyon, walang bahay, everything was against them, and yet they were able to raise so many children na kahit na wala pang pera, kaya nila. Eh di ba sa atin, marami sa atin, hindi. Mag-aantay ako pag kunyari na may pera na ako, nakuha ko na yung dream job ko, bago ako magkakaroon ng family at saka magpakasal. Sa mga commitment phobics dyan ha, yung mga parents natin, kaya naman nilang magkaroon ng 10 kids na walang pera. So what does that say with us? Let's not excuse ourselves anymore. If you want to be successful, if you want to achieve your goals and dreams, you must have discipline. And that means doing more every single day, even if you're tired, exhausted, mentally challenged, and bored. Okay lang na mag-give up. Pero do not blame anyone but yourself if you do not achieve what you get. Kasi those that have discipline do really get more given the limited resources that they have. All things equal. So for example, sa mga taong may advantages sa buhay, pwede nating sabihin, eh kasi yung tatay niya mayaman eh. But remember, kahit na mayaman yung pinanggalingan mo, pag wala ka pa ring discipline, mauubos mo yan. Pero kung galing ka sa mahirap, marunong kang may disiplina ka sa sarili mo, may marunong ka rin magturo ng disiplina sa mga katabi mo, kasi it's not just all about you, it's also with your support group, then you will really be on the pathway to success. How about you, Coach Alan? Muted tayo. And then for everyone, please leave your name, where you are in the Philippines, so we can give you a shout out to the show. Please also leave your feedback on the wow quote of the week.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Ma'am Tina and Ma'am Rona. Unang-una, gusto ko manang batiin ang lahat. Good afternoon, and it's been a long time. Bago nagkaroon ng
Hmm.
bakasyon, absent po ako. Anyway, about the quote, talagang it resonates with me kasi yung araw wala akong disiplina eh. Pero when I learned that discipline and commitment are two ingredients to achieve your goals and dreams in life, talagang nag minaster ko siya. No? At eto yun, para sa akin, um, this quote emphasizes the importance of two key qualities, yung discipline and commitment, in achieving our goals and dreams. But let me first define. No? Discipline refers to the ability to consistently adhere to plan or set of rules despite obstacles or distraction. Lalo na ngayon, ang daming distractions, no? Nawawala tuloy yung ating focus, nahisira yung ating discipline. Now, it involves self-control, tong discipline. It involves focus. It involves perseverance. Without discipline, it can be easy to get off track or give in to short temptations, di ba? Tapos wala na, sira na yung direksyon, sira na yung momentum. It will hinder progress towards achieving or reaching your goal and realizing your dreams. Now, commitment, on the other hand, involves making a dedicated effort and being fully engaged in the pursuit of a goal or dream. So, dedicated effort, no? It means being willing to invest time, energy, resources, and to stay committed even when faced with challenges or setbacks. Kung yung isa, kaya ka masa-sidetrack o mawawala because of distractions and temptations, ito naman, pwede kang mawala kapag ikaw ay hindi committed dahil na hindi ka nag invest ng time, energy, and resources to stay committed. So, para sa akin, bali, the quote suggests that discipline and commitment are not only important individually, but also as a combined pathway to success. Kailangan pagsamahin mo para mas malakas yung pwersa patungo sa iyong inaasam-asam na pangarap. They work hand in hand, with discipline providing the structure and focus, and commitment fueling drive and determination to stay on path towards one's goals and dreams. Yun po yung aking take sa quote na ito. Thank you, ma'am.
Alam mo, Coach, Mentor Alan, maganda yung sinabi mo, no, na they go hand in hand. A lot of people think na when it comes to discipline and commitment, it's just doing the same thing over and over again. It's not that simple. It requires active participation. It requires effort. You need to really exert effort. Kasi wala naman tao na pinanganak na from birth, disiplinado na agad or merong commitment na
Mm.
agad.
Mm.
It's something that
Correct.
you work for, you work hard for, and you really put an effort in making sure that you stay committed, you keep doing the same thing, you regardless of what's happening, gagawin mo siya. Tinatamad ka, wala ka sa mood o kung ano pa man, you
Oo.
keep doing it kahit
Yun,
nahihirapan ka, kahit
yun
may
ang
obstacles,
discipline.
kahit may challenges. Yun ang
Correct.
discipline. Ang tingin kasi ng ibang tao, pag sinabing discipline, ay, kayang-kaya niyang gawin ng walang masyadong effort. Some people do not seem to understand na kaya yung mga nakikita nyo ngayon, yung mga sinasabi nyo na, ay, napaka-disiplinado niya. Kaya sila dumating sa point na yon kasi early on in their life, they started making an effort, really being conscious about what they're doing, and really putting in the work para marating nila kung ano yung gusto nila. So,
Simple
pareho
lang
din
yun,
sa
ma'am, eh.
akin.
Parang,
Mm-mm.
parang, ang discipline, it is your ability to say no to temptation. Ang
Mm-mm.
commitment, it is your ability to continue moving forward. Maring naiwasan mo nga yung temptation, pero nakaupo ka pa rin. Abay, tumayo ka, kasi yun ang commitment. Maglakad
Correct.
ka.
Correct.
Di
Ayan.
ba?
At ano din yan ha, para do sa mga lalong-lalo na ngayon nakakagaling lang natin sa long weekend, yung mga nasobrahan diyan ng kain, discipline and commitment din sa pag-exercise dahil
Oo.
summer na po at kailangan natin ng beach body. Ayan. So kung
Oo.
kayo po, ano po ang naramdaman ninyo at ano ang iniisip ninyo at anong comment nyo, feedback about our wow quote for the week, please have that in our comment section para naman ma-discuss po natin yan. But, syempre kung meron po tayong wow quote for the week, hindi mawawala ang ating HR question for the week. At ito ay madalas na naitatanong sa Philippines HR Group, lalong-lalo na ngayon na meron na naman po tayong isa pang upcoming regular holiday on April 21. An employee was half day prior to the declared holiday. Should we pay the entire holiday premium for one day? Mentor Tina, ano masasabi mo tungkol sa question na ito?
Sabi ko, ang daming beses na, ang dami nating holiday, bakit pareho pa rin yung mga tanong every
Hmm.
single regular holiday? You know, it's kind of weird. Ganito lang, guys. When it's regular holiday, it's double pay. It's what we call red holidays. Okay, so there's a few red holidays. Christmas Day is a red holiday. Easter, the Monday, Thursday, and the Good Friday are also red holidays. Meaning to say, pag pumasok, 200%. Pag hindi pumasok, 100%. But the strict condition is you must be present the day before. A lot of our employees kasi, they want to beat the traffic. Siyempre, pag lahat ng tao magsasabayang mag-holiday, so many people, they take a leave of absence earlier, a day before or 2 days before, or they under time. The problem lies when the staff under times without approval. Meaning to say,
Yun.
yung tipong 3 o'clock pa lang, half day pa lang, aalis na. Or may tao ding nag-a-approval. Here's the rule. If you're the day before, meron kang absence that is paid, or nag-undertime ka that, if you had a leave of absence that's paid, you still have to pay the holiday pay of 100% the day after.
Hmm.
Okay? For the unpaid naman, sa mga tumatakas, ang talagang dapat gawin ng magaling na HR is, kung alam mo may tendency yung employee ninyo na ganun gumawa, when you issue the memo reminding people of the holidays, you should also put a second and third paragraph reminding people of your rules with absences and
Hmm.
undertimes. 'di ba? Walang problema mag-undertime, basta alam mo, pumayag ka, and dapat kung may leave credits pa, gamitin ng staff mo yung leave credits na yun para doon sa undertime nila. So it's not undertime, quote and unquote. If your staff does undertime without approval, or yung mga taong pagdating ng after holiday, hindi pumapasok, nag-extend, pero hindi nagpapaalam, you should already put in the memo your rules for disciplinary action for employees who choose to undertime or choose to absent without leave prior to the holiday or after the holiday. So sa akin, legally, you still have to pay 100% of the holiday premium. If they, di ba, you still, that's the rule eh. So kung pumasok the day before, you still have to pay 100% of the holiday. But pagbalik nila, dapat meron ng kasamang memo. Incident report for absence without leave or incident report for unauthorized undertime na nakasama doon yung disciplinary action na for that type of offense. So for example, sa amin kasi, okay lang naman na parang mag-undertime ka or hindi ka pumasok, basta may nagpaalam ka ng maayos. Pero pag hindi ka nagpaalam ng maayos, magbibigay kami sa iyo ng notice to explain for your unauthorized absence or unauthorized undertime. Sa
Undertime.
amin kasi suspension yun eh. Very strict kami sa absence without leaves. So when they do that, when they extend their vacation without informing us, wag mong gagawin na hindi mo nababayaran yung holiday pay nila. Kasi I've seen so many questions sa PHRG group na nag-extend si employee. Tapos ina-expect na may holiday pay. Pwede ba daw hindi bayaran? No, you still have to pay because the rule says if the person is present the day before the holiday, you still have to pay holiday pay. But what you can do is, pwede mo silang salpakan ng disciplinary action. Sa amin kasi pag absence without leave, suspension eh. Second time you do it, termination. So that's one way to discipline, but still being legally compliant. How about you, Coach Rona?
Ako, isa lang masasabi ko sa ating mga audience, dahil nabanggit naman na ni Mentor Tina halos lahat ng gusto kong sabihin. Basta tatandaan nyo lang, pag present, and
Mm.
si Sir June, madalas Sir June Mendoza, madalas niyang binabanggit ito sa Philippines HR Group. Don't add, even June Espacio, I think. Don't add, don't subtract sa kung anong sinasabi ng batas. The law
Mm.
is very clear. If
Mm.
present or on leave with pay on the day prior to the holiday, holiday gets paid 100%. Very
Mm.
clear. Huwag niyo nang sabihin, paano yun nag-half day siya? The person was still present on the day prior to the holiday. So, employee still gets paid. Papaano kung ano, kung, nag-leave with leave with without pay po siya, eh, di absent, eh, di hindi siya present day before the
Correct.
holiday, so hindi bayad. So, yun lang yung tatandaan natin, don't add, don't subtract to what is, required by law. Now, gusto ko i-highlight yung sinabi ni Mentor Tina. HR people, yung buhay natin ay mapapadali if we have
Oo.
policies in place. Very important yan. Whenever you are working on something and you see gray areas, this is the reason why you put policies in place. You don't put policies in place just because. You put policies
Mm.
in place to address the gray areas that may not be covered by the labor code
Mm.
or may not have been expounded in the labor code and in implementing rules and regulations, omnibus rules implementing the labor code. Yun ang reason why you have the policies to spell out yung hindi covered noon. That would make life make your life very easy kung meron kayo nun in place, regardless if it's a holiday or hindi. Now, when you create a policy, sorry, when you create a policy, it should not be more than, especially if it's a negative one, it should not be something that's disadvantageous to the employee more than what is allowed by the law. So pag sinabi ng batas na it is presence on the day prior to the holiday, wag yung dagdagan ng absence and presence after the holiday. Wala nang ganon. Kasi
Mm.
disadvantageous yun sa employee at hindi yun inaalaw ng batas. Puwede lang kayong magkaroon ng magdagdag 'pag it is advantageous to the employee at hindi sila masyadong o ba hindi hindi ito something that would take away from whatever is allowed by law to them, okey? Wag
Hmm.
masyadong ano, wag tayong masyadong, para bang sinasakalan natin mga empleyado natin na tipong inallow ng law is yung absence or presence day before tapos tayo meron pa tayong day after, wala. Ngayon kung ang problema is ang dami po kasi naming nag-a-absent after the holiday, that's expected. Ang gagawin ninyo is to declare critical working days. So 'pag
Yun.
holiday, declare the days after that, and not just holiday, even days after the salary, yung payout ninyo, declare those as critical working days. And these days being critical, we will not approve any application for
Hmm.
leaves. Puwede niyong
Hmm.
sabihin 'yun. Pero hindi niyo puwedeng sabihin outright na, 'pag hindi ka pumasok ng day before, day after, walang bayad ang holiday mo." Hindi.
Hmm.
Kasi right 'yun ni employee yung holiday pay. But if they are absent on the day after the holiday, you can tell them, hindi kami mag-a-approve ng leave and if you file for a leave, we will subject you to disciplinary action. Yun, allowed yun ng
Yun.
batas.
Okay.
So, wag yung pakialamanan yung holiday pay dahil meron ng,
Bayaran mo
sinasabing
pa
batas.
rin.
Oo, bayaran niyo pa
Correct.
din. Ang puwede
Pero
niyong pakialamanan is yung araw mismo na nag-absent sila, yun, sagot niyo yun, pupuwede kayong
Yun.
mag-disciplinary action doon, ayan.
Yun.
Mentor Alan, ikaw, ano pong masasabi mo?
Ang meron ako dito, actually, more on a case study. No, kahit pag-usapan natin. Halimbawa, if for regular working hours of an employee on the day prior to the declared holiday is 8 hours, and the employee only work for 4 hours. Ito yung case natin, which is half day. The employer is only required to pay 100% of the employee's regular daily rate for the 4 hours work and not the
hmm.
entire holiday premium
Hmm,
for one day. Is that correct?
that is actually not correct.
Bakit
Kasi
po?
walang
Kasi,
sinasabi ang ating batas na 'pag 4 na oras lang ang tinrabaho niya on the day before, 4 na oras din lang ang ibabayad mo sa kanya dun sa holiday itself. Ang sabi lang ng
Hmm.
ating batas basta't present or with leave with pay on the day prior to the holiday, bayad yoong holiday. Wala siyang
correct.
sinabi na commensurate dun sa kung ilang oras yung tinrabaho niya day before, wala. Very
Okay.
clear yun
Hmm.
doon.
All right. Sa makatuwid, it's important for employers to comply with the provisions of the DOLE, the labor law, and accurately calculate and pay the correct holiday premium to employees based on the hours actually worked on the day prior to the declared holiday. Tama? Kasi
Correct.
failing to do so may result in violations of labor laws and expose the employer to potential legal liabilities. Yun ang ayaw ninyo, di ba? Ayaw natin yan. Nakakatakot yan.
Mm, correct.
Including back wages, monetary penalties, and other sanctions. Kaya, ina-advise po namin to seek legal guidance or consult with the DOLE for specific cases or if there are any questions or concerns regarding compliance with labor laws in the Philippines kung kayo ay nalilito. Yun po. Tama po ba,
Yes.
madam? Ayun.
Correct. Tapos may mga nagtatanong din diyan, papaano kung meron silang pasok on a holiday, tapos pumasok si employee pero late. Eh dahil holiday po 'yan at supposed to be 'yan po ay non-work day, hindi kayo magbabawas for tardiness kasi supposed to be wala silang pasok for that day. Ko-compute niyo lang kung ilang oras yung pinasok nila, yun lang, dun lang kayo focus. Okay, wag mo po
Hmm.
nating masyadong pahirapan ang ating mga sarili pagdating sa computation.
Bawal dagdag bawas pagdating sa batas.
Yes, correct, ayan.
Okay.
Okay, kung meron po mga dagdag na katanungan, ilagay po yan sa ating comment section para mamaya po ay maaari natin silang i-address. But for now, Mentor Tina, meron po ba tayong balita mula sa DOLE?
Yes, and before that, I'd like to first greet our viewers, lalo ng mga early birds, Miss Matilde Fernandez Belen. Thank you. We've also missed you to Ken. Ken Somera is there. Please add him doon sa kanyang group. Carmela Tamya is watching from Butuan City, Mindanao. JVC is asking, mag-work from home na lang siguro a day before. Basta lang may approval ni boss. Bong Tuplano is here. Welcome. And then may nagtanong, clearly stated, Ma'am Tina, Rona, and Sir Alan, in the absence of specific labor law guidelines, HT must interpret the law liberally, meaning in favor of labor. This is even a constitutional guideline. Actually, ang daming
Correct.
HR na nagagalit kung bakit daw pasaway ang mga empleyado nila. Lagi daw after holidays, lagi daw nag extend ng leave ng without approval. Mga dear HR, pag yan pasaway ang mga employees ninyo, hindi problema yung empleyado, kayo po ang problema kasi yung execution ninyo of company policies medyo maluwag. So kung kunyari ang mga tao nag extend ng absences, pero as recommended by Coach Rona, na meron kayong critical work days and may memo kayo that says na hindi approve ang mga leaves ng time na yon, you can actually salpakan yung mga taong pasaway with disciplinary action. And when you do that, tiyak, mababawasan po ang mga pasaway ninyo. Which is why,
Sampulan.
di ba?
Sa sampulan nyo.
Sampulan.
Oo.
Sa
Correct.
tama. Sa tama. Kasi
Sa
ang
tama.
tao naman nakikinig. Basta
Correct.
marunong lang kayong mag-execute ng company policies nyo. Pero pag kunyari, nagrereklamo kayo amongst yourselves, pero wala naman kayong notice to explain or incident report sa mga pasaway nyong tao, bakit kayo magugulat pag
Wala.
inuulit nila uli? Lalong-lalo na pag kunyari yung mga holiday pay ninyo, binabayaran pa rin ninyo regardless. Eh, why would they like follow the rules, right? And it's a very
Nare-reinforce eh.
walang reinforcement.
Nare-reinforce. Oo.
Yes.
Yung non-compliance, nare-reinforce kapag masyado kang lenient or you are
Mm-mm.
not implementing the rules.
Mm.
Oo.
Yun.
Agree.
Yun ang
Kung na,
sinasabi
And
ni Ma'am Tina.
oo. And highlight ko lang yung sinabi ni Sir Jun Aspacio. Si Sir Jun actually yung Facebook user na lumalabas sa atin ngayon. Tama po si Sir Jun. Yung ating batas, yung ating labor code, nakalagay po yan sa ating constitution and even sa labor code itself na if there is a gray area, it will always be, or there is a, kumbaga, mahirap i-interpret yung isang part ng batas within the labor code, it will always be interpreted in favor of the employee, not the employer. Kaya nga siya tinawag na labor code kasi it's for the
mm,
labor. It's to protect their rights. Okay?
Kaya
mm,
So,
minsan umaaray yung mga employers dyan, ma'am. Ano? Foul! Ba't
oo.
ganon? It's unfair!
Bago naman
Eh,
po
talagang
sumigaw yung
ganon.
ating mga employer ng foul, meron po kasi kayong tinatawag na management prerogative, which is
Yun.
actually much more flexible than what is in the labor code. Kasi ang hangganan lang ng management prerogative is as long as hindi siya labag sa kahit na anong existing law or socially acceptable na behavior, pwede siyang i-implement. Kaya nga pwede kayong maglipat ng empleyado sa kung saan nyo sila gustong papuntahin as long as it's done in good faith. Pwede nyo ilipat ng posisyon as long as it's done in good faith. Pwede kayong maglagay ng policies, procedures, mag-set ng time kung anong oras papasok, anong oras uuwi, anong oras yung lunch break. Pwede nyo iset lahat yan because all of that falls within management prerogative. But you have to be wise on how you make use of management prerogative. Dun maraming employers ang medyo hindi sila ganun hindi nila na ma-maximize yung management prerogative. Kaya ngayon bigla silang aaray pag sinabi na, uy, dapat yung bayaran. May management prerogative po kayo.
eh,
Okay?
Okay.
Ayan. Sige
okay.
po,
And then
Mentor Tina.
for the next one, the Office of Malacanang has finally declared April 21, Friday, as a regular holiday throughout the country in observance of Idil Fitr, which marks the end of the Ramadan. A lot of people are saying, bakit parang ngayon lang siyang sinabi? Ano ba tong Idil Fitr? This is actually a regular holiday. And then, so talaga, double pay po talaga siya. Okay? So sa mga taong nagsasabi, anong ibig sabihin nun? Kailangan ko bang, kasi parang a lot of people may pasok ng Saturday. So Friday lang po ang regular holiday. Kung meron pa kayong pasok ng Sabado, you still have to get back to work. And kung gusto mo ng extended, kailangan ka pa rin mag-file ng for leave credits. Okay? Ganon yon. You must be present the day before, which is April 20, for you to be paid holiday pay on April 21, Friday. And kung may pasok pa kayo ng Sabado, you have to file for a leave of absence for that. Kasi kung hindi kayo sumipot, as we've mentioned before, pwede kayo salpakan ng HR ng disciplinary action, which is dapat lang for absence without proper leave. Na yung pag sinabi mo, a lot of people will say, well, hindi ako makabalik kasi nasa probinsya ako. Tama, walang problema. Pero dapat, pag mag-a-absent ka, kailangan approve ni boss. And kung wala kang approval, HR should execute an incident report and a notice to explain, documenting your absence without leave or awol. Okay? And yes, ang tao pwedeng ma-terminate pag awol. Kasi that's part of the serious misconduct, which is a just cause for termination following due process. Lalo na if attendance is very important for your company. Okay? Next one. SSS, Rona. Yan. So, pag-ibig. So, na-announce na po ng pag-ibig na ang dividend rates nila for regular savings and MP2 is at 6.53% for regular savings. MP2 is at 7.03%. A lot of people are kind of happy/sad kasi parang feeling nila parang bumaba. But let us recognize time deposits right now in the bank, ang pinakamataas is around 4.5 to 5.2% per annum. So kahit na anong mangyari, mas mataas pa rin ang dividends ng pag-ibig for regular savings and MP2. A lot of people do not agree with me. Pero instead of putting your money on a VUL sa insurance, if you are actually saving for your children's educational fund, I highly recommend that you put your money na lang sa MP2 kasi it renews every 5 years. So, ang ginagawa ko is, habang yung anak ko nasa kindergarten pa lang, pinapasok ko na yung pera. 5 years later, grade 4 na siya, grade 5, grade 6. So, meron ka na. Tapos, after you roll it over, third year na siya, malapit na mag-graduate. You know, it's very convenient because that 5-year gap is a very good, parang what do you call it, practice for you to actually save up for your children's education. Okay? We've talked about discipline before. Kung gusto nyo pong yumaman, one of the things is not to spend. So if you don't, instead of gambling it on crypto na didn't make money, instead of gambling it on parang variable linked insurance na talagang didn't make money and bonds, sa Pag-ibig MP2 is one of the safest government-backed investment ventures that is sure to help you negate the risk of inflation. It doesn't really beat inflation, but it does save your principal and it generates more money than keeping the money in the bank account. Okay? So
Is
sa
that
mga taong
safer than stocks, Ma'am Tina?
yeah,
Talaga?
definitely. Because a lot of stocks right now it depends eh. Stocks perform based on company performance. So there is no guarantee whether the money will go up and go down. For example, if you've invested money on ABS-CBN, your money is now back to zero. If you've invested money in Jollibee, the price has gone down. But there are also some winners, meaning to say, if you've invested in the tech companies 3 years ago, you would have made a lot of money. So it's really a gamble pa rin. And you know, it's hard to bet on things, lalo na when it comes to your children's future. Bet on things if you have excess funds, but for those para for your family, play it safe. Yun lang. Alright? So sabi
Pag-ibig.
ni Danny Jeff, I do have MP2. Agree ako sa investing sa MP2. And then Chris Dizon says, I think discipline and good work ethics are equally important, especially if there were clear policies and appropriate execution of these processes in the table. Next to you, Rona.
Yes, at syempre pa po ang ating isa sa mga paborito nating government agency, SSS. Nag-announce po sila na for 2022, ito po yung pinakamataas na nakapag-release sila ng pension loans. Umabot sa 5.95 billion pesos ang na-release sa pension loan.
Wow.
Na kinakabahan tuloy ako bigla. Parang lahat ata ng pera ng SSS ay nakalabas sa loan. Wag naman po sana. Ngunit, Magandang balita po ito para sa ating mga pensioners kasi ibig sabihin po nito ay nakakapag-take advantage sila nung kanilang privilege to take out pension loans. Pero kalma-kalma lang po tayo sa ating mga pensioners ha. Ang pension loan po, maaaring maganda siyang pakinggan, pero loan pa rin po ito which will be charged against your pension. So kung hindi naman po kinakailangan tulad ng iba pang mga uri ng loans, kung hindi po kinakailangan na mag-loan, wag pong mag-loan. If you have an emergency and you don't have any source of cash, tsaka lang po tayo maglo-loan kasi ma-charge po ito sa pension loan ninyo, which means every month mababa na lang yung makukuha ninyo. Mas magandang makuha nyo ng buo ang inyong pension loan kesa sa meron kayo isang bagsak na malaking pera, ngunit mababa na lang ang makukuha ninyo per
Correct.
month.
Correct yan.
Ayan.
Um,
At
speak,
yes po.
yun, share ko lang, inintay ko yung aking pension. Nag-apply ako eh. Yung pension mismo, hindi loan.
Mm-mm.
At ilang months pa lang hintayan yan bago mo makuha. Pero,
Yes.
yun nga eh. Kaya, anyway, ibig sabihin nun, mahalata mo na kung ano edad ko. Anyway, moving on.
Hindi na nga kami hindi na nga kami nag-comment, Mentor Alan. Anyways,
Anyway,
pinapaalala din po ng SSS ang kanila pong mga online facilities. So, meron po silang magiging webinar para dun sa orientation ng kung ano po ba yung kanilang mga online facilities and portals. Magandang attendant po ito para mas makabisado nyo po kung ano yung kanilang mga online portals at paano gamitin yung kanilang online portals. So, kasama po dito ang my.sss, ang mobile app, text SSS at yung kanilang mga self-service express terminals. Kasama din po sa i-discuss yung express e-learning. Napakaganda po nitong portal na to sa totoo lang. At yung kanilang Usap Tayo portal. So for more information, check po ang SSS website or ang kanila pong Facebook page. Or kung gusto nyo pong mag-enroll, i-scan nyo lang po yung QR code na nakikita nyo sa screen nyo right now. This is happening on April 28, 8:30 a.m. Marami pong mga programs ng SSS for orientation ng mga members at para mas malaman ninyo ang inyong mga benefits. So, take advantage kasi usually limited slots lang ito at mahirap kumuha ng slots. So, attend po kayo para hindi kayo palagi nagpo-post sa Philippines HR Group ng bakit hindi ko ma-access ang my.sss. Dito nyo po malalaman kung bakit hindi nyo na-access minsan ang my.sss at kung bakit hindi lumalabas lahat ng mga information for a particular period. Ayan.
Mentor Rona, pwedeng tip lang. Kasi a lot of people have been complaining the last couple of weeks on my.sss. Ano po tingin niyo po ang problema? 'Di ba? Kasi ang hirap magpa-login and mag-print ng PRN. Anong nangyari?
Actually, nag-update ang SSS ng kanilang
Hmm.
website. Ito, sorry ito SSS, nananawagan po kami sa inyo. Sana mag-issue naman po kayo ng announcement pag mag-repair kayo ng SSS website kasi naguguluhan yung mga HR. Pero ito po yung tip sa mga
Hmm.
HR. From the 1st to the 5th or 6th of the month, totally inaccessible yan. Kasi, lalo na yung PRN part, kasi gine-generate pa nila yung PRN ninyo.
Hmm. Hmm.
After the 6th, po pwede nyo na dapat makita yung PRN ninyo. Para safe kayo, start checking the PRN from the 10th to the end of the month. End of the month ang
Hmm.
atin pong deadline with PRNs. So, wag po
Hmm.
kayong mataranta pag hindi nyo pa siya na-access. Pro
Hmm.
tip, access the website pag bandang mga gabi na, 11 p.m., 12 midnight, kasi yan yung walang masyadong nag-access. Sorry mga HR, alam kong lagi natin sinasabi work-life balance, pero yung website kasi ni SSS, dahil maraming nag-access, usually bang bandang gabi talaga siya accessible. Use Firefox or Edge, Microsoft Edge or yung Internet Explorer, kasi for some reason, hindi ata kilala noong developer nila ang Chrome. Yun ang pinakamagandang platforms para ma-check nyo po yun. SSS, nananawagan kami, bukod sa mag-announce kayo pag magda-down ng system, baka gusto nyong kunin yung developer ng website ng PhilHealth kasi maayos yung website ng PhilHealth eh.
okay.
So use ano po 'yan?
Mag-generate.
Use
Use Internet
Microsoft.
Explorer. Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer or Firefox para mas madali nyo pong ma-access. Kasi for
Okay.
some reason, hindi siya compatible kay Chrome. So, nagkakaroon ng, minsan, ng error pag Chrome ang ginamit
Okay.
niyo. And between 11 p.m. to siguro mga 1 a.m. 2 a.m. Yun ang pinakamagandang time para i-access ninyo si SSS. Yan.
Alright.
Okay? Yes.
Okay.
Nakakaloka si SSS. Anyways,
Ayun.
PhilHealth, Mentor Alan, ano po ang bago kay PhilHealth?
Oh, bago yung PhilHealth, gusto ko munang i-plug. Napansin nyo, I'm wearing the PHRG t-shirt kasi gusto ko pong i-plug na ang PHRG ay ibinalik na po yung HR Core Program at magkakaroon po ng HR Core Program sa Cebu. Ang tawag doon ay Inspire HR, and that will be on May 6, 2023. Para siyang TED Talks for leaders for inspiration. And Sir Darwin said that they will be inviting something like 200 to 300 packs. So hindi naman sabihin na puro taga Cebu lang ang atin nun. Kung gusto nyong pumunta sa Cebu, galing kayo ng Mindanao, galing kayo ng Luzon, marami kayong pera, di attend kayo ron. Anyway, isa pang good news, I want to verify this if this is correct. Like, the Inspire HR here in Manila, nung ginagawa natin to before the pandemic, Inspire HR is free of charge.
Yes, it's free.
So, ganun, kung ganun, yun din gagawin sa Cebu ay magiging ganun. So, that will have to be confirmed by Sir Darwin. Now, let's go to PhilHealth, ang paborito ng maraming tao na institusyon dahil ito'y nakatulong sa kalusugan ng mga taong malapit sa sakit at mga malapit ng wag na, hindi ko na itutuloy. PhilHealth member, kung hindi po kayo updated sa inyong hulog, meron pong good news. PhilHealth member pero hindi updated ang hulog, no problem, sabi ng PhilHealth. Bakit? Sagot ka ng PhilHealth. Sa Universal Health Care or UHC, lahat ng Filipino ay dapat makagamit ng PhilHealth benefit sa panahon ng pagpapagamot saan man at kailanman. Next slide, please. Yun. Wala nang waiting period. Yan ang sinasabi ng PhilHealth. Kailangan lang ipagpatuloy ang paghuhulog ng kontribusyon para maginhawa ang pagkamit ng iyong benefits. Para sa detalye, call back channel 0917-898-7442 o i-text ang PHIC callback space mobile number or Metro Manila landline ninyo space tanong o concern. O kaya ay mag-email sa actioncenter@philhealth.gov.ph. Bisitahin kaya ang Facebook official page nila, ang PhilHealth Official, or go to Twitter account of PhilHealth, the Team PhilHealth. At ang kanilang website ay www.philhealth.gov.ph. All right. At let's go to our sponsors. Ayun. So, ito pong Puerto Marina. Pwede pang humabol, ma'am, no? Kahit na nagsimula na yung tag-ulan. Sabi nga nila, huling hirit sa tag-init. So, pwede pa. At kahit na ikaw ay naambunan, mai-enjoy mo pa rin ang ganda nitong Puerto Marina Beach Resort and Vacation Club because it offers 3-star accommodation as well as a private beach and an outdoor pool. It also provides facial treatments, massage services, and beauty center. And also, there are a range of facilities on offer to those staying at the resort, such as laundry facilities, luggage storage, and room service. For those looking for outdoor adventure, the resort has a wide range of activities including fishing, surfing, kayaking. Kaya yung kanilang air-conditioned room, equipped yan with tea and coffee making facilities and bottled water. They are also equipped with cable, satellite channels, and a shower. Yun po, sa Lingayen po yan ng naka-locate. Kaya madali po niyong mapuntahan. Just go to their website, El Puerto Marina Beach Resort and Vacation Club. All right, the next sponsor is UniCare. Ang UniCare po is an SME healthcare partner delivering coverage of known HMO brands like MaxiCare and Medicard. And ang ano bang kanilang offering ngayon? UniCare ito po yung UniCare Rewards, no? It is an HR solution designed to provide instant discounts and special packages for employees. At kung kayo ay interesado, automatikong kayo ay membro dahil member din kayo ng Philippines HR Group. So you can get discount to 70 restaurants. No, how to enjoy that? Sign up to Philippine HR Group Rewards dito sa www.unicareph/phrg. Second step, you will receive email confirmation from PHRG Rewards. No? And third step, you may now share the QR code to your co-employees. And the fourth step, you may now see the list of partner merchants with 10% discount. And the step 5, para ma-redeem ninyo, no? Just bring your ID na merong logo ng PHRG to redeem your reward. And ito pong ID na to ay printable naman. Ayan, nakikita nyo sa screen ngayon. You can print that out and attach that your official ID perhaps at makita lang niyo sa mga merchants, mga restaurants. 70 merchants ito, no? Nabanggit, kasama Max's, kasama yung Kuya something. Wala na yung mga logo natin dito, no? But they have a lot of partners that I cannot mention now dahil hindi ko na nakikita kanilang logo. But perhaps maybe you can look at their website. Nandoon po sa website ng UniCare. All right? So back to you, Rona.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Mentor Alan. At para po doon sa mga logos, hindi kasi namin kita dito. Makikita niyo po siya pa nag-sign up po kayo doon po sa UniCare. Doon niyo po makikita kung sino-sino po yung mga partners nila at kung magkano po yung mga discounts na po pwede niyo pong i-avail. Pero I think yung sinasabi mo, Mentor Alan, si Kuya J ata yun.
Yan,
Yung
Kuya
restaurant.
J.
Oo, si Kuya J.
Yeah, ang natatandaan
Ayan.
ko lang yung Maxis
Kuya.
kasi paborito ko yung manok nila eh.
Ay,
And
ay, ay. Kalma-kalma, Mentor Alan. Nagugutom ako. Nakagutom yung topic. Maraming
uh,
salamat, Mentor Alan. At kung kayo po ay gusto niyo po mag-sponsor ng isang episode ng dito sa HR Cafe and Help Philippines HR Group, maaari po kayong pumunta sa atin pong Facebook page or mag-reach out sa kahit na po sa sinong mentor, coach, or member ng Philippines HR Group para kayo po, yung atin po mga board of directors ng Philippines HR Group, para kayo po ay may feature namin dito sa HR Cafe or makapag-sponsor kayo ng episode or may announce namin kung ano man yung mga announcements na gusto nyo po or kailangan nyo po maiparating sa mga members po ng Philippines HR Group. But for now, Mentor Tina, sino po ba ang ating special guest for today?
It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Jonecca San Pascual, who was our previous guest in the HR Cafe before. And I remember she's one of the most memorable guests that we had for that year kasi sobrang na-explain niya ng maayos yung NLP. So I'm very much looking forward to her topic today, how to develop discipline for yourself and for others. Jonecca is the founder and CEO of Pieza PH. She grew up in a family of entrepreneurs and she set up her first company, her own automotive store at the age of 23. She is a licensed NLP, which is Neuro Linguistic Programming Practitioner, under the Society of NLP USA, which studies human behavior for personal mastery and communications, to be able to utilize that in business as well as in marketing and sales and your personal life. With this framework and dream, she aims to running the world, which is very realistic, ha? She is an entrepreneur driven by results, a successful personality development coach, a motivational speaker that's focused on success. She's dedicated, driven, motivated, and she serves the world around her, transforming lives one at a time, one step at a time. With that, we'd like to welcome Miss Jonecca San Pascual. Thank you for giving us your time for today.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Sa lahat ng nanonood, hello sa inyong lahat. I'm very happy to be back here. I think it has been a year. So thank you
Yes,
so much.
exactly. Mm-mm. So we'll be on the back end to support. And then sa mga taong nanonood, please leave your comments and your questions on the chat box and we'll actually read it after after her presentation. All right?
Hi everyone. So good afternoon to all of you. It's Sunday today, but you guys are here. So thank you so much for your time in investing in your knowledge and spending time learning uh, self-discipline. So that's our topic for today: how to develop self-discipline when there is none. Okay. So sabi, dreams will not become our reality without discipline. So, isang malaking factor talaga sa success, isang malaking factor sa pag-accomplish ng goals at dreams ang discipline. And without it, dreams will not come true. So, before we start with our lesson, guys, let me tell you my story. But before I tell my story, please say hi through our comment section below and tell me where you're from or just simply say hello. Ayan. So, back then, probably around 2018, I was really busy forming a business. I was really busy with my career, developing my skills and all that. And wala akong pakialam sa health ko. Wala akong pakialam sa kinakain ko. I'll just eat anything I want. I usually have milk teas every day. So every day, umiinom ako ng milk tea kasi paborito ko yung milk tea before eh. And I'll eat junk foods. I won't exercise or anything. Hindi ako mag-exercise. Um, Hindi rin ako nagbabasa about health. Hindi ako nakikinig ng mga podcasts or lessons about health, videos about health. I was just focusing on my work. I was just focusing on my career and developing or establishing, the business that I had that time. And so, um, after few years, after a few years, napansin ko, pag nagbubuhat ako mabigat, kapag maglalakad lang ako, kapag tatakbo ako, madali akong hingalin. Madali akong hingalin, madali akong mapagod. And I ignored it. Hindi ko na lang pinansin. Hindi ko pinansin. I kept on doing that unhealthy lifestyle. Nagpupuyat ako. Hindi ako natutulog ng 8 hours a day. Hindi ako natutulog ng maaga. And then, suddenly, I was diagnosed with a disease. So I was 2019 back then. I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. So meaning ang taas ng hormones ng thyroid ko and increases my metabolism. So I was really thin back then. Sobrang payat ko before because of the disease that I had. And I started changing my habits. So I started cutting down milk tea. Hindi na ako nagmi-milk tea, hindi na ako mahilig sa sugar, hindi na ako mahilig sa mga unhealthy food, fast food, processed food. I tried my best to eat, pag mag-rice ako, black rice na lang. I tried my best to eat vegetables and fruits. And there's this time where 1 month, I disciplined myself to just simply eat fruits for a month, just to detox. And I started reading books about health. I started researching about my disease. And then I started going to holistic healing methods. I started exercising as well. I started studying martial arts, ganyan. Kasi during the pandemic, ang hirap din pumunta sa gym. Hindi ka rin makapunta sa gym dahil sarado lahat ng establishments. So I started changing my habits. I started um, living this healthy lifestyle. And so I lived a healthy lifestyle, and I stayed as much as possible. I stayed healthy then. So hindi na ako ganoon kapayat, and I make sure that I always monitor my hormones, and I monitor the food that I eat, and then exercise palagi, and bihira tayo magpuyat. So ano nga ba ang discipline? Ano ba ang discipline? If you ask me, guys, ano ba ang discipline? For me, it's when you do the things you don't want to do, but your future self will thank you for it. So that's discipline for me. Ginagawa mo yung mga bagay na ayaw mo, pero alam mong papasalamatan ka ng future self mo. Does it make sense, guys? Type in the comments below if that makes sense, or type in yes if you're there as well. So self-discipline, it is when you have the ability to get yourself to take action regardless of your emotional state. So kahit tinatamad ka, kahit hindi ka motivated, kahit hindi ka inspired, pero alam mo kailangan mo tong gawin, then you have that self-discipline. The ability to control yourself. Like for example, may lechon sa harap mo, pero alam mong bawal ka ng lechon. Diba? Ang ginawa mo, hindi mo siya tinikman at nakontrol mo yung sarili mo sa pagkain ng lechon. Then that's self-discipline. The ability to stay committed to achieve the goals that you have set. So kahit maraming distractions, kahit maraming challenges along the way, you are still committed to achieving that goal, whatever that is. Is that weight loss? Is that weight loss ba yan? Pagpapayaman ba yan? Career ba yan? Skill ba yan? So you are staying committed to achieve that. And how self-discipline? How does self-discipline help you? Self-discipline, guys, kaya importante siya, hindi lang sa success. Kasi it will boost your self-esteem. Okay? It will help you accomplish your goals. It will give you the ability to change your life in any way you like. It will help you to be more decisive, and it will help you develop that inner strength. So napakadami niyang benefits, guys. And it's magical when you've developed that self-discipline. So sabi nila, self-discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger you become. And the less you train it, the weaker you become. Now, let me give you guys 5 tips to improve self-discipline. Number 1, you have to understand that there are no shortcuts. Okay? A lot of people, gusto nila lang madali. They look for shortcut. They look for hack. And if yun ang hinahanap mo to get that discipline, then you won't find it. Okay? A shortcut doesn't get you discipline. And if you want to be stronger version of you, kung gusto mo na maging mas matalinong version of you, healthier version of you, then you need to do the hard work to get it. Okay? It will not happen by taking shortcuts. Okay? There's only hard work. There's only late nights, early mornings, exercise practice, repetition, studying, sweat, pawis, dugo, yan. And discipline. Okay? There must be discipline. And discipline, guys, is the root of all good qualities. It's ito yung pinaka core quality na will help you overcome lahat ng katamaran, lahat ng excuses na meron ka. So, if you want to overcome, lahat ng laziness mo, lahat ng excuses mo sa buhay, ba't hindi ka papasok today, ba't hindi mo gagawin yung work mo, bakit kahit alam mong tomorrow yung deadline, yan. Discipline defeats that. Okay? So, how do you become stronger? How do you become smarter? How do you become healthier? Isa lang naman yan. That's just discipline. Okay? And next is why. Okay. So guys, kung napapansin nyo, medyo umiiyak ako dito. Finding your why is not easy. Kahit alam ko, marami na nagsabi sa inyo na just find your why. But it's always easier said than done. Bago ko nahanap yung why ko, I had to attend a lot of leadership courses. I had to experience a lot of failures. I had to overcome a lot of obstacles for me to find my why. But if you want to be that disciplined or better version of you, you need to find your why. Okay? Bakit mo ba gagawin ng isang bagay? If you want to wake up at 5 a.m., bakit? Bakit mo siya gagawin? Kasi pag wala kang why, mahihirapan kang gawin siya. Kahit gaano ka pa ka-committed, kahit gaano ka pa kadesidido, kung wala siyang basehan, kung wala siyang pundasyon sa buhay mo, kung ba't mo siya gagawin, mahihirapan kang gawin yun. So you need to find your why. And the reason why a lot of people achieve their goals, let's say, nagpapayat sila kahit mahirap, mag-exercise sila araw-araw, gigising sila ng 6 a.m. para mag-jogging, is because they have their why, their whys. May reason sila kung bakit gusto nilang sumeksi, gusto nilang magpapayat, o gusto nilang mag-diet, and gusto nilang maging better version of themselves. And if you need that kind of discipline in your life, you need to find that out. Okay? Sabi nila, he who has a why can bear almost anyhow. So bakit mo ba gagawin ng isang bagay? Bakit ka ba, let's say, bakit ka ba titigil uminom? Bakit ka ba titigil magyosi? Bakit ka ba hindi nakakain ng pork? Para kanino ba yun? Para ba sa'yo? Para ba sa mga anak mo? Para ba sa pamilya mo? Para mabuhay ka pa ng matagal? Makasama mo pa sila? Para ba sa nanay mo na nasasaktan na, nakikita kang may bisyo? So, find out that why. Ano ba yun? Sino ba yun? Para kanino ba yun? And number 3, you have to overcome procrastination. Okay? A lot of people, they want to know, paano ba ako hindi tatamarin? Paano ko ba gagawin tong task na to? Paano ko ba matatapos tong task ko na to? But a lot of people also don't know where do they start. Saan ba ako magsisimula? Kailan ba ako magsisimula? Kailan ko ba yan gagawin? Kailan ko ba yan tatapusin? But here's the secret to it. It's just here and now. Just ngayon mo lang siya gagawin. Kailangan mo lang siyang gawin today. Okay? That's it. Okay? If you want to improve, if you want to overcome that procrastination, if you want to get better, if you want to write a book, start your new business, develop an app, saan ka magsisimula? Kailan mo sisimulan? Walang ibang sagot dyan kung hindi ngayon. Gagawin mo lang siya ngayon. Okay? Kasi yung task mo, hindi naman yan gagalaw mag-isa eh. Walang gagalaw niyan. Yung book na sinusulat mo, walang magsusulat niyan para sa'yo. Things aren't going to move by themselves. So you have to do it. And you have to do it now. Okay? So, discipline defeats the infinite excuse that say, not today, not now, I need a rest, I will do it tomorrow. Get after it, here and now. Yan lang ang solusyon dyan. Paano maging hindi tamad? Gawin mo na ngayon. Huwag nyo nang ipagpabukas. Paano overcome ang procrastination? Gawin mo na ngayon. Okay, next is mind control. Okay. When we say mind control, it's not like we're controlling the minds of, other people. Okay. It's about controlling our own mind. Because we are our minds. Lahat ng ginagawa natin, lahat ng actions natin, it's who we are. Okay. And discipline starts within us. It's in us. And if it starts within us, then it's something that we can control. Okay? So, if you ask me, how do you get tough? How do you get tougher? Just be tougher. How do you wake up early in the morning? Wake up early. Okay? How do you stop eating sugar? Just stop eating sugar. Diba? Like I said earlier, just do it now. And with mind control, you can reframe your mind. You can program your mind. Siguro for those who haven't watched my NLP video last year, you could rewatch it. I've taught a lot of programming techniques then there, how to achieve success. Excuse me. And for this one, for discipline, we want to also reprogram our mind to get to be able to take control of ourselves, of our desires, of temptations. Like for example, this donut. Okay, this donut, it's really delicious. It's very rare that people can resist donuts. But you know that this donut has a lot of sugar. You know that this donut is not good for you. It has a lot of carbs. It's just really good for your taste, not anything else. So you want to reprogram your mind in a way that you don't see donut as delicious as it seems. So with NLP, it's neuro-linguistic programming. What we do is we program our mind. We program our mind through the power of words. So we tell our mind that this is not delicious. But how? How do we do that? We visualize that this donut is not delicious. We can tell ourselves na this donut is a poison. Pwede yun. We can picture it in our mind na tong donut na to poisonous. It's black and white. Hindi siya colorful. And pwede mo siyang gawing disgusting sa utak mo. That's how you can reprogram your mind. of the colors in your brain and your mind. And you can add smell, you can add other visuals, diba? Na para hindi siya maging mukhang delicious sa utak mo. So that's how you want to reprogram your mind when it comes to um, uh, controlling yourself. When it comes to food, you don't want it to appear delicious in your mind. So that's one thing on how you do mind control. Okay. Now next, and of course, last but not the least, it's regrets. Okay. So we don't want to, dumating sa panahon na dahil hindi natin ginawa isang bagay, eh, diba, we'll just regret a lot of things. For example, dahil hindi tayo disiplinado sa pagkain natin sa araw-araw, diba? We'll just regret na one day you have cancer. Diba? We don't want that to happen. Dahil hindi tayo nag-exercise, diba? One day, we've gotten a certain disease. Or dahil hindi tayo nag-invest sa knowledge natin, sa skills natin, hindi tayo nagbabasa, hindi tayo nag-aaral, nakikinig ng educational videos, motivational videos, one day we just got lost. Hindi natin alam saan tayo patungo. And it's something that we don't want to happen, and that's why we're applying discipline as early as now, diba? For example, if only, diba, before if only I have been more careful with the food I ate, diba, I won't develop like a certain kind of disease. So it's something that we don't want to happen. And you always have to think, what is the price to pay? What is the price to pay, for being lazy, for procrastinating? What is the price to pay? Is that your work? Trabaho mo ba? And pag nasisante ka sa trabaho, what will happen? What is the price to pay pag nasisante ka sa trabaho? Yung pamilya mo may kakainin ba? Diba? Makakapagbigay ka ba ng pera sa nanay at tatay mo pag nanghingi sila sa pamilya mo? And how painful is that? Imagine that pain when you couldn't give out something to your family. Imagine that pain when you don't have food on the table. Imagine that pain na, napag-iiwanan ka because you're not investing in your skills and your knowledge. Imagine that pain. So, what is that price to pay? Okay. And here's also one fact. We get one shot. Okay. We get one shot at this gig called life. Okay. We only got one life. And that's all we've got. And the most important thing to understand about regret is that regret is worthless. It does nothing for you. Okay? The only thing valuable in regret is the lesson that you will learn, the knowledge that you will gain. But walking around with regrets, or walking around and you're filled with regrets, gets you nothing. Okay? Just learn and move on and live a life of regrets. So, don't let regret beat you. Okay? Let it make you better. let the fear of regret alone fuel you. Okay? To take action. Gamitin mo yung takot mo. Gamitin mo yung pain mo para kumilos ka. Diba? Para maging disiplinado ka. Hindi bukas, today. Today, and you have to take action now. That's the last thing, guys. And other than those, those tips, of course, when you establish a routine, like for example, it's hard for you to wake up every morning, but you have to wake up at 5 a.m., let's say. So you want to establish a routine na, okay, every other day muna ako. Every other day muna ako gigising ng 5 a.m. And then, sige, pwede na every day. Ayan. Take imperfect action. Minsan na nagkakaroon tayo ng analysis paralysis because we have so much overwhelming information that we cannot take action. And that leads to procrastination, that leads to delaying a lot of things. So make sure that you take imperfect action kahit hindi siya perfect. Kahit hindi siya perfect, as long as tama siya. Alam mong tama siya, then do it. Do what makes you happy. When you do something na masaya ka lang, nagpapasaya sa'yo, kahit wala ka ng discipline eh. Diba? Kasi kusa mo siyang gagawin, excited kang gawin siya. And make sure you find a conducive environment for you. Like for example, ayaw mo na magkanin. Diba? Pero lahat ng tao sa bahay niyo nagkakanin. So kind of hard. It might be a bit hard for you to follow your desired diet. So make sure that your environment is conducive for you. And practice delayed gratifications. Meaning to say, for example, may kailangan tapusin today. Pero yung friend mo inaya ka sa birthday party. Okay? So, pagpapaliban mo muna yung birthday party para matapos mo yung gagawin mo. Because in the future, diba, pwede kang ma-promote. And because in the future, your future self will thank you for it. So, that's delayed gratifications. For example, hindi ka muna aalis, hindi ka muna magta-travel sa Egypt, sa US, kung ano man, just for you to focus on self-improvement muna. Or just for you to focus on your business muna. So that's delayed gratifications. So guys, always remember that the best version of you is not the successful or rich version of you. The best version of you is the disciplined version of you. Ayun lamang, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I had fun with you guys. And if you have questions, let me know lang through the comments below.
Ayan, thank you so much, Miss Jonecca. Ang ganda nung last part. Gustong-gusto ko yung last part. Best version of you is not the successful or rich version of you. Kasi a lot of people usually define being disciplined, not being disciplined, but being successful means being rich, na material wealth. And I think that's something that most people do not really appreciate. Ayan. Mentor Alan, Mentor Tina, kamusta? Anong masasabi nyo sa ating presentation ni Miss Jonecca?
Si Ma'am Tina muna.
I'm always very impressed when Madam Jonecca presents. Kasi she is actually quite young, is younger than us, many of us, but her words always bring wisdom. And I think the question for many Filipinos, Ma'am Jonecca, is, di ba masarap kasi ang bawal? Diba, when it comes to food, when it comes to love, when it comes to our recreational activities, it's always the illegal, the unhealthy, alam mo nang mapapagalitan ka ng nanay mo pag alam nila. It's the video games, it's the waste of time that we cannot help to do And how do you stop that cycle? Kasi syempre parang the fact that you're an adult now and still have unhealthy habits is also a result of your upbringing. Siguro nung bata ka, there was no imposing authority figure that really stopped you from doing it, that you were not able to create that habit within yourself. Kasi diba sometimes the family is very chillax. Sige, saan ka masaya? Dun ka. Oh, bagsak ka. Congratulations. Mas mataas ka yung, at least ngayon, 74 ka. Dati, 65. Well, there's some families
Mm-hmm.
that are like that. So the habit that you were mentioning was not present when they were growing up. And around them, their family members have that laissez-faire attitude na, bahala na si Batman. Di ba, may parang mabibiyayaan din tayo ng Diyos even if we follow our instincts. What's your recommendation for some of our viewers who are watching who want to make that change? Parang hirap kasi yung pamilya nila hindi naman ganun, yung kaibigan nila hindi ganun, yung kumpanya nila hindi naman ganun. They don't have that environment to create, to have that discipline, that self-discipline. What would you recommend for them to do para they can change themselves?
Mm-hmm. Got you, Tina. Yeah. So let's go back to the tips that I mentioned earlier. First, you need to really find out your why. Bakit mo ba siya gagawin?
Mm,
Um, like what I said, also, it took me a while to realize what my why is. Um,
mm,
and more than more than I think a lot of us are doing the things that we do because of our family, because of
mm,
our partners, because of our kids, diba?
mm,
Because we much as possible we want to provide what's best for them and all that. But finding your why is more than that.
mm,
It's feeling out the pain,
mm,
of seeing your parents getting older and you haven't done anything yet. You haven't made them proud yet. You haven't
mm,
made you proud, and you haven't made yourself proud yet.
mm,
So what do you have to do
mm,
in
mm,
order to change that?
mm.
So that's how deep you should that's how deep you should go in finding your why. What's
Yeah.
what's what's that kind of pain? If
Mm,
if for example, um, uh, uh, you still have your family there, your
mm,
parents there, pero paano pag nawala na sila,
mm,
'di ba?
mm,
Paano pag nawala na sila and then you haven't
mm.
done anything for them?
I think it's about being honest to what you have truly achieved as of this moment. Because most of us don't think about it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't want to face it. Because when you do an accounting of what you've achieved, most people are not very satisfied with what they have. But they always want to forgo it na hindi, next year gagawin ko to. If you want to take further studies, next year na lang. 2 years na lang, pag may pera na ako. But time flies really fast. Ngayon
Yes.
pa lang, 'di ba, we started in January and all of a sudden we're quarter done. 'Di ba? The Easter holidays never helped. We just started April 1, tapos after that, ngayon April 15 na. 2 weeks has
Mhm.
passed. We've aged for 2 weeks and yet, ano bang nagawa natin? Most people don't do any accounting with their achievements. They don't list down what they've accomplished. Tapos pagdating ng end of the year, ano na, resolution na naman.
Yes,
Sige, next year
yes,
na uli. 'Di ba?
yes.
Parang, but if you're being honest, you should have done your accounting every month, every day, every week, every month, every quarter. Do you think that's a very healthy way of doing things?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And also I agree with you, Tina. And that's why, New Year's resolutions barely work. Diba?
Mm,
It's just more of the adrenaline rush that it's New Year, but people don't people aren't committed to, fulfilling their New Year's resolution. Wala na, nag-fade na yung motivation. Pagdating
mm,
ng February, yung nakakalimutan na why they started, nakakalimutan na ano ba yung mga goals nila. And that's why they have to wait another year again to repeat all
mm,
those New Year's resolution, and that takes a lot of discipline. That takes a lot of
mm,
self discipline to do what you have to do in order for you to achieve a better version of you, not just
Mm.
career wise, but of course personally.
Chris Dizon has a very good comment. Sabi niya, makes sense, very insightful. Paano naman if yung the people around you, you want to inspire to have discipline? Like for example, your kapatid na laging nag-waste ng time with mobile gaming, 'di ba? Or your friends na naghahanap ng trabaho pero don't really have the discipline to do that. How do you send the right message of discipline to other people?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, that's sad thing, no, Tina? Kasi
Mm. Yung people you love, yung pa yung medyo feeling mo nag-underachieve.
yeah, it's sad. It's sad thing, and the saddest part thing there is we cannot control other people's lives as much as we want to. All we can do
Mm.
for them as their family, as their relative, as a friend, is to give the best advice for them as possible. But the end of the day, sila pa rin magdidesisyon yan para sa sarili nila. If we want to inspire other people, make sure that they are inspired by us as well. Nakikita nila na,
Hmm.
for example, sinasabihan mo siya na huwag siyang magpuyat, dapat ikaw din sa sarili mo, hindi ka rin nagpupuyat, 'di ba? Para nakikita that
Hmm.
you're a good example, that
Para hindi ka hypocritical, 'di ba?
yes, you're
Mahilig ka
good.
mag-preach pero sarili mo hindi ka rin inosente.
Mm.
Yes, yes. So para may credibility ka rin when you give advice. Like for example, you don't want your mom to eat sugar, but you yourself eat a lot of unhealthy food. So there will be like kind of resistance there. So make sure that if you want to inspire other people, you yourself are also uh, has the quality or are also being inspired by others.
Tsaka how you inspire them is important kasi minsan gusto mo mag-inspire pero lagi kang galit. 'Di ba pinapagalitan mo yung mga kasama mo? 'Di ba inspiring ba 'yun? Kayo Mentor Rona, 'di ba? Pag lagi ka nagsesermon eh. How do you remove yourself from that type of cycle?
Ako naman growing up, like I I I grew up with a strict dad, really strict dad. So it helped me a lot. But of course, he's our provider, so there's a respect. I respect him a lot, and he's a role model when it comes to discipline as well, because he lives a really healthy lifestyle. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink as much. So we're really the character is there. The results are there. Doon sa mga lahat ng pinapagalit niya sa amin, nasa kanya yung result that we see. So it helps. Discipline helps. Um, just make sure that you also give love. Tough love nga kung tawagin. It's not just it's not just all anger, hatred, but there's also care. There's also love, to balance the discipline out. Kasi it would help, especially sa kids mo, especially sa, you know, also with our relationship, with our friends, it applies a lot.
Mrs. Jonica, that now that you've mentioned yung you have a strict father and that we have to we're dealing with anger sometimes. Meron tayong magandang question dito from one of our audience. Sabi niya, does fear or could fear be considered a major driving force of discipline? Mas matindi ang takot, mas mabigat dapat ang disiplina.
Mhm. Um, Fear kasi, when we say fear, mostly a lot of people see it as a negative, emotional state. But we can always use fear to motivate us. We can always use fear, to prepare us. Diba? For example, fear of, let's say, getting sick. Diba? It's not that bad at all. You use that fear so you could prepare, you could strategize on how to live a healthier life, how to live the life that you want to be, especially when you're in your 80s, when you're in 90s. So it's not a major factor in terms of discipline. It's not, but it helps.
Yeah.
It's one of the factors that helps. You
I
know,
think that's
Fear.
why, yeah, a lot of people change their health habits and their diet after experiencing a health scare.
Yeah.
yeah.
Without the health scare, parang, oh,
Speaking of
pwede naman kumain.
speaking of fear, 'di ba? Yung mga bata pag meron silang fear of palo and fear of ball jack from the parents, magdidisiplina talaga eh. Nung panahon namin talagang usong-uso ang paluan. Kaya yung
Mm,
disiplina ng araw eh. Sinturon, um,
Mm,
tawag dito, hanger na kahoy, nababali
mm,
yun. No? And
mm,
talaga nagtatanda ang bata noon. At we first learned discipline from our strict parents and then later on, yung self-discipline na develop na lang.
mm, mm,
Okay? Pero I'm particularly interested dun sa sinabi mo kanina, John, yung something to do with the mind control. You mentioned
mm,
that, no? Kasi napansin ko sa mga kabataan, hindi ko naman nila lahat, no? Maraming
mm,
kabataan ngayon, despite the discipline style of their parents, talagang lumalabas pa rin yung pagka-suwail, pagka-sutil. Now,
mm.
sa tingin mo, um, something to do with the mind pa rin to? Is it something to do with the brain chemistry or different thought patterns? Ba't siya merong rebellion or anger sa loob na gusto talagang sumuway? Anong tingin mo ron?
Alan, good question, no? I just think that kung suwail ang isang bata, may rebellious um, character inside of that kid, we need to explore on a lot of things. I think it's very, it has a lot of factors leading to that kind of uh, behavior. Could be childhood trauma, could
Mm,
be, uh, could be attention, affection that wasn't given. That this
mm,
kid, it's looking for other sources.
mm,
So there are a lot of factors, especially of course in this generation where there are less interaction, less engagement, with the people we love because of technology, 'di ba?
mm,
Dati may TV lang, sabay-sabay kumakain. Ngayon, pag kumakain, lahat nasa kanya-kanyang phones.
Kasi
mm,
maraming ganyang cases eh. The parents, mga mababait, talagang ideal parents. Mga kapatid, okay naman lahat. Meron lang talaga isang black sheep na hindi mo malaman saan nanggagaling yung pagka-black sheep niya despite the fact na lahat ng factors around him eh okay naman. And it turned
mm,
out now, if we're going to do some psychological assessment, may kinalaman sa kanyang brain chemistry or what. Maybe NLP can explain that, no? Or what. So, ang pinagtataka ko, eh, despite the effort na ginagawa ng mga parents, may mga ganun talagang bata. Ano kaya pwedeng gawin dito sa mga ganito? Kaya yun yung mga nauwi sa kalaboso, na napapariwara yung buhay. Kasi may rebellion talagang, ano yun, genes ba yun? Or is it a virus in the brain or what? Hindi ko mapaliwanag. Sabi nila may sapi daw.
May
Hindi
I,
naman
ano,
siguro, I wouldn't consider naman na ano, na may sapi or
Joke
may
lang yun.
virus in
Pero
the brain.
ibig
Oo,
sabihin, rare kasi yung behavior compared to
correct.
all the kids around. Parang there's some psychological anomaly happening in the individual's behavior or kung ano man yung cause nun.
may I add lang, kasi
Yeah.
parang I think that the HR profession has a very good parang foundation for parenting. Kasi
Mm.
if you think about it, how you handle pasaway employees is similar
Mm.
to how you also handle the pasaway and rebellious child.
Mm.
It all goes back to Jonecca's why. Kasi sometimes, ang HR or mga bosses, pag nag-uutos, parang medyo kulang yung information. So when we give orders, we believe in management prerogative, and we tell people to follow orders without explaining why. So I feel that a lot of very strong, solid companies are those with managers who are very good in explaining the context of their orders as well. So, for example, if uutusan mo siyang overtime or papasok ng holiday, hindi mo lang sasabihin, eh kasi sabi ni boss eh. But you will also explain the context. Eh, kasi meron kaming important client, it's for the good of the org, and then this is what they ask for, and in return, this is what we're going to do. It's a lot of effort, time to explain, but it helps the people understand why parents or the bosses give instructions. Same with kids, di ba? You have to explain, but sometimes kasi short tayo ng time, short temper, so we just tell them, just follow me because I'm your parent. But now kids have so much freedom to ask for information. They Google, they have friends, offline, online. So we have to be very careful in explaining the why. And also, after explaining the why, if the people still choose to disobey, then we have to give them the freedom to also fail. Because parents, good parents, don't want kids to fail. Pag bumabagsak na yung bata, tad-tad ng tutor. Pinabantayan to make it napapasa yung tao. Pag bumagsak, kakausapin yung teacher. It's the same with us, with managers who give employees a lot of chances. Pero yung execution of discipline, nawawala. Let them fail. Sometimes, di ba sabi nga ni Chris Rock sa kanyang Netflix special, I know a lot of people don't like it, but he said he once had his child expelled from an exclusive school because the child was already feeling very entitled. Na feeling niya dahil ang tatay niya si Chris Rock and maraming pera and will save him and will hire lawyers to go against the school who's just following rules and directions. So siya pumunta sa school to say, fail my child because this will teach her to be humble and be more successful in life. And I think it takes a lot of courage for, even for me, ang hirap mag-terminate ng tao. Lalo na pag medyo mabait pero may konting pasaway. Yung may tao talaga, minsan hindi mo alam, inaasar ka palagi. Laging pag inuutusan mo, hindi ka susundan. Pero after that, magsasorry, nakatawa pa. So it's really hard to discipline somebody like that.
Ang aasar.
Napasaway, paulit-ulit. Feeling mo, inaasar ba ako? Parang every time inaasar. Sinabihan ko na yan before, gagawin pa rin yan. But the problem is not the employee. The problem maybe is not the child. It's also the way we execute. Because when we say words, we ourselves don't have discipline to actually do what we say. Sige, I'll ground you. Sige, I'll terminate you. Sige, but we don't eh. Sige, one
Sabi
more
sa'yo,
time pa.
promise ha.
Oo, parang one more time pa. Kung sinabi mong babawasan mo ng allowance, bawasan mo ng allowance. Pag sinabi mong hindi mo papayagang lumabas yan, huwag mong payagan. Pag sinabi mong i-confiscate mo yung iPad, make sure, tapusin mo yung 30 days. Eh kasi most of us, sige, mabait naman siya today. Sige, after one day, babalik mo. Eh, yung pala eh.
Yun.
Sino ba nagturo na maging pasaway? Yung bata ba o yung ikaw? And I think it's a bit of a problem now, Ma'am Jonecca, because nauso ang gentle parenting and mental health awareness. What are your thoughts with that? 'Di ba? Kasi dati wala yun eh.
Yeah. So let me share with you this one NLP principle that's very, I think, applicable to what we're discussing right now. So resistance is always a sign of lack of rapport. So when you don't connect with a person, regardless of the age, and regardless if it's workplace or family, then that means you lack that kind of rapport with that person. If sinusuway ka nitong taong to for some reason, kay magulang mo yan, kay anak mo yan, and that's because you lack rapport with this person. You don't have that connection.
Wow.
You didn't communicate well. And
Mm.
I trained kids to success camps for 5 days, and we were trained how to deal with kids. And these kids were aged from 8 to 20 years old. Meron sobra talaga kahit they're like what Sir Alan said earlier, kahit ang babait ng parents sa harap namin sisigawan, sa harap namin susuwayin. So we train these kids in 5 days to to change their habits, to change their behaviors. And here's one training that I'm gonna share with you. So there's this portion in that success camp where kailangan naming pagalitan tong mga kids. So they would know that what they're doing is wrong. But um, after that, we need to give them that kind of understanding why we said what we said, that kind
Mm.
of care that we're saying this because we care for them, we,
Mm.
the kind of love that we say that we love them, and that's the reason that we're doing this. And
Mm.
so there's nurturing part. So
Mm.
with 3 to 5 rule, I think in the workplace, whenever you
Mm.
say three bad things, to
Mm.
this employee, you appreciate 5 good things that this employee has done,
Mm. Mm.
so that he she or this person would have an awareness
Mm.
na ay magaling naman talaga ako eh. Kailangan ko lang gawin 'to. Kulang lang ako sa ganito. So that
Mm.
nandun yung tiwala pa rin sa sarili.
Yeah.
They won't feel bad after, ay
Correct.
hindi naman
Mm.
ako magaling. Ay tanga naman pala ako eh.
Mm.
Ay, ang bobo ko pala dito. So parang
Mm.
walang
Correct.
ganung feeling. Walang ganung feeling na madadown sila. Walang na mag-iiba yung perception nila sa sarili nila. Yung tiwala nila sa sarili nila
Self-esteem, no?
mawawala. 'Di ba? So um it's the right way to communicate. It's the right way um uh how you would uh be honest with what you feel, na I'm angry with you. I'm disappointed with you because you did this. And um and I hate what you did because of this and that. And I'm afraid that if it will continue to happen, your life will never be the same. And I'm saying this and because I care for you, and all I wanted for you is for you to be better, for you to be a better version of you. And I appreciate that you're doing this and you're doing that, and know that I love you and I'm always here for you. So those kind of those structure where you were able to honestly convey, all your feelings, not just anger, not just hate, but also your care, your love, and your appreciation to this person.
Yeah. The why. That's the explanation of the why. Why
I'd
am
like
I
to
scolding
add
you?
lang
Why
to
am
what
I
you said.
punishing you?
Kasi that really blows. That's why I love Jonecca. Kasi ang dami na sinasabi, medyo deep. Rapport is very important in instilling discipline in others. Kasi most HR, we are so focused on doing our job that we actually treat our employees as the enemy. Lalong-lalo na if they're not listening to the company. The first action that many HR do is to issue a notice to explain or an incident report, which is very confrontational. So imagine
Mm-mm.
putting yourself in the employee's shoes. You want the employee to change, pero all of a sudden, they receive something from you, which is as an attack. Tapos yung manager na nagbigay pa ng IR, tsaka ng NTE, parang pag tinanong mo, bakit ako binigyan ng ganito? Eh wala eh, sabi ng HR, pasaway ka eh. So it's not very healthy in instilling change. Kasi ang gusto mo lang kasi tigilan niya maging late, 'di ba? And which is makukuha mo naman if maayos mo siyang kausapin. Paintindihin mo sa kanya yung sitwasyon niya. Na sabihin mo sa kanya, you're all both on the same side. You want the same thing. Pero many HR, they prefer to do it the easier way. I'll give you documentation. I'll fight with you. And then later on, pag nakasimangot na, parang you want the person to be your friend. Alam mo yon? Tapos magugulat ka later pag natanggal na yan, idodole ka. Hinole ka hindi dahil na-late siya. Dinodole ka kasi feeling niya it's constructive dismissal. Iniinitan mo siya. Which could have been avoided if you put yourself in a more, parang more benevolent manner. Strict, but benevolent. And I think, as I've said, rapport is important in instilling discipline in others. Because if you don't have rapport, you cannot change the other because everyone will fight from ayaw ng taong magpalit just because sinabi mo lang. Gusto nilang palitan ng sarili nila kasi naniniwala sila sa sinasabi mo na para sa kanila yon. But they need to believe in you first. Diba? And
Okay,
we forgot that eh.
correct.
Yes, yes.
Meron ako na-realize, lumalabas na based dun sa sinabi mo ngayon, Ma'am Tina, and also Jonecca, it boils down to self-esteem. Eh. How will you manage the person's self-esteem? Kaya yan ay uh,
Good point.
child, yan ay employee. Kapag na-damage mo yung self-esteem because of your approach na masyadong authoritative, offensive, threatening, defensive, syempre yan, at the same time, magiging aggressive na. Pero kung yung self-esteem ay manage mo na maigi, you maintain the person's self-esteem rather than you eroded or destroy, magiging cooperative siya. Yan ang yung na-realize ko lang din sa sinabi ni Ma'am Jonecca kanina. Yung mga sinabi mo kanina. Kaya lang itong self-esteem, ito lang ang problema. May somebody mentioned gentle parenting kanina, no? Ito po mga parents who are practicing gentle parenting were disciplined by strict parents when they were children. Kaya pinangako nila sa sarili nila na pag ako naging parent, hindi ko lalatayan ng sinturon yung anak ko kasi ang sakit-sakit. Kaya naging gentle parenting kasi naranasan nila yung sakit eh. So puro kausap lang, puro salita, kaso hindi naging effective because parang iba yung orientation ng mga kabataan ngayon. Kaya yun ang naging natin ngayon, naging challenge. And I guess yung managing self-esteem will still work when apply that principle. Okay, yun lang po ang realization ko. I don't know if you agree.
Totally agree, Sir Alan. No? I think this relates to what we call the Pygmalion effect. So, when Pygmalion effect started, there's this researcher who conducted a study about a
Sandali, ma'am.
teacher.
Pygmalion is a reptile, tama ba?
No.
Reptile siya?
It's
Ano ba yun?
Mythology.
it's
Mythology.
psychology. Yes, it's actually a
Mythology.
phenomenon
Okay.
where if you put higher expectations to someone, it will lead to higher performance.
Yun.
So
Good yan, good.
yes, the employee tends to follow what was expected of him or her. So that's the Pygmalion effect. So the study started when there's this teacher who was told she will teach gifted students with high IQs. But in reality, these students doesn't have high IQs. They are just normal students or normal kids. And then during the first semester, this teacher is wondering, bakit ang bababa ng grades nung estudyante niya? So she took accountability and revised her lesson plans. So sabi niya, ako ata yung mali. Ibahin ko yung lessons ko, ibahin ko yung strategy ko on how I teach. And then slowly, these kids are improving. And at the end of the year, these kids ended up having really high IQs. So that's Pygmalion effect. You actually tend to follow what was expected. So, in other words, kapag sinabi mo sa empleyado mo na bakit ang bobo mo dito? Bakit ang
Yun,
tanga mo na?
nagdidikit. Oo.
Magiging tanga
Nagiging
talaga. Magiging bobo talaga.
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes. And
Ang
same
tanga
But
ko,
that's
ang tanga
true.
ko, ang bobo ko. So, naging self-talk niya no?
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Actually, that's true. Kasi pag galit ang HR, lagi nilang iniisip yon, even if many people don't say it. And sa akin, bakit parang hindi niya magets yung instruction? Ilang beses ko nang tinuruan, pero hindi pa rin niya magets. So, ang problema siya, hindi ako. Pero another way to look at it is, minsan, pag ikaw nag-e-explain, hindi ka magaling, kaya hindi ka magets. Ang problema, hindi siya, pero ikaw. And that's a very big mind change. That the problem is not often with the employees, but also with us. And that type of change of mindset allows you to change yourself and your systems and the department in a way that you can manage your employees better. Tulad ng holiday pay, di ba? Kanina pinag-usapan, bakit ang daming tao namin na nag-a-absent pagkatapos ng holiday, pasaway sila. Yes, pasaway sila. Pero ang problema, hindi sila. It's ikaw. Kahit na lumipat ka sa bagong kumpanya, pag ganun pa rin the way you manage your employees, sila din, makukuha din nila yung bad habits because the problem's not the employee, it's the person executing the rules. So I feel talaga na we need to look at people like Pygmalion. Do you really think your employees are good? Or do you feel that they are pasaway? Do you feel that they are bobo? Or do you think na actually matalino sila kasi nadidiskartehan kanila? Sino ang bobo? Sila ba or ikaw? Kasi paulit-ulit ng ginagawa pero nakakatakas sila. So who is the bobo one, 'di ba? Sila ba or tayo? So I think that's type of mindset minsan. We feel na parang why should you say I'm bobo? But if you do not realize sometimes na what is the core problem, you cannot change yourself, hindi ba? If we think na parang, bakit ang anak natin tamad? Baka it's not the anak's fault. You have to think of it that way. Bakit yung tao natin pasaway? Baka hindi naman yata masyado yung tao. Pero maybe something from our accountability is part of discipline. Because if you always think it's somebody else's fault, you cannot have discipline, you cannot make change. Di ba, Ma'am
And
Rona?
then,
Ikaw,
Mentor
oh.
Tina, ano ko na, dagdag ko lang sa sinabi mo. Kasi maganda yung sinabi mo. And yung how we think kasi will also affect what we say, how we act.
Mm.
So when we think of an employee as bobo, or when we think of
Mm.
our children as bobo, even how we
Mm.
communicate is already aligned na nandun ka na sa assumption that the person is bobo. So instead of saying, let's say, ang assumption mo is the employee is bobo, ang una mo ngayon sasabihin is, bakit hindi mo to alam? Which
Oh,
now sets the
yan.
behavior of that person na may isip niya ngayon,
Yes.
bakit nga ba di ko alam? Ang bobo ko naman. So, nagiging self-fulfilling prophecy. But if we
Mm.
phrase it in the manner na, are you familiar with this? Nabanggit ko ba to sa'yo? It now raises in curiosity and interest on the other person,
Mm.
changing how they react. So yun din yung
Mm.
kung paano natin iniisip, kasi baka iniisip kaagad natin, especially sa HR, nandun kaagad tayo sa tigas naman ng ulo nito, pasaway to
Mm.
masyado. How we
Mm.
communicate now will also reflect that. But if we look at it
Mm.
the other way, like what Miss Jonecca has mentioned, if we look at it the other way, sandali, bakit nga ba sila nagkakaganito?
Mm.
What is it in me or in what I am doing that is resulting to this? Let
Mm.
me take a look at that and let me change how I think so that I change
Mm.
how I speak and how I react so that the employees also will change how they think and how they react. It's a domino effect, but it starts
Mm.
with us. It starts with somebody higher. It starts with someone who understands the big picture.
Mm.
Yung kung paano natin sinasabi at paano tayo nag-iisip, dire-diretso yan. Once we start one way, dire-diretso na yan at ang hirap ng baguhin. And we have to be
Tsaka,
careful with that.
we have to be careful with our hirits. 'Di ba, as you've
Correct.
mentioned a while ago, 'di ba? Totoo, as HR, if you're handling people, ang lakas nating humirit. Pero totoo lang, hindi naman relevant yung hirit na yun. Ba't di mo alam yan? Ba't kailangan mo pang sabihin, hindi nga niya alam eh, di ba? Asking the question will not answer it. But we tend to say such things, tapos the other person feels bad. But it doesn't
Correct.
still change. Why don't we have the discipline to control our words and anger? Because sometimes, sa unang hirit mo pa lang, hindi mo na makuha yung goal mo, which is changing the other person, stopping the person from being pasaway or stopping the person from being late. Those initial words, yung entrance mo, meron bang concept sa NLP, yung pag-entrance mo pa lang, bagsak na, tuloy-tuloy lahat ang bagsak? If your entrance is negative, how can you expect positive change? Kung sa simula pa lang, ikaw na yung bad.
Mm.
Ma'am Jonecca, meron bang concept ng ganun, ng how to, even sa presentations, first impressions, 'Di ba? Parang ang tayo kasi napipikon tayo, hindi natin matigilang humirit. Napaka-nega talaga ng hirit na yun, very dangerous. That's why I always tell my line managers, bakit mo pa kailangan sabihin 'yan? 'Di ba? That's very counterproductive.
Yun.
It makes the person your enemy. You are the
Correct.
biatch, right? For doing that. What for? Tao mo naman 'yan eh. Pag tinanggal mo na, tsaka ka magsabi. Pero ngayon pa lang, stop saying those hirits kasi they're not healthy for her. And it makes you look like a total bad manager.
Hmm.
Agree.
Coach Alan,
Mm-hmm.
Yun nga, to yun, yung words kasi, words that hurt, no? Sabi nga nila, ang tongue daw natin is deadlier than a sword kasi kapag nakasugat yan ng puso, forever na yung sugat na yun. So,
hmm,
lalo na kung you're a person in authority. Ang ano ko lang, may tanong ako kay Ma'am Jonecca. Balik lang ako doon sa sinabi mong mind control, no? Kasi ang laking impact nun sa personality, lalong-lalo na ng mga employees. May mga programs ba tulad ng maliban sa NLP na may recommend ka sa mga HR practitioners na pwedeng makatulong sa kanila to develop discipline, not only to the employees but more in particular yung mga managers na walang pakundangan and they don't care whether employees will get hurt with their words. Ano kaya magandang program for leaders para ma-develop din yung kanilang ma-instill din sa mind nila that discipline is not just instilling fear but
Mm-hmm.
siyempre dapat may ano rin meron ding positive approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aside from NLP, no, marami pang ibang training na pwede nilang enrollan, like leadership training. It's one good training, I believe so, for personality development, communications training.
Yan.
I think it's one important thing that they need to have. Lean Six Sigma probably, but most likely it's in for processes. But discipline can be applied to that as well. What else? Those personality development training, motivational training. It's one good thing as well. Um, Although I
Joneka,
highly
you have
recommend
trainings?
it talaga.
Joneka, your trainings, 'di ba? Life coach ka. What are your offerings and
Yes,
programs?
yes. So I'm a life coach, but I mostly focus on business. And yeah, you could PM me, message me, if you are in need of a life coach, a business coach, NLP coach, communications that's focused on negotiation, communications, persuasion, influence. Um, and at the same time, we will have an NLP training this coming June, and we'll be having a Singapore trainer. So I hope you guys could check it out. I could
How
give.
long siya?
It's actually
How
uh,
many
eight
days?
days, I believe so. But it's
Hmm.
mostly online, and then there will be two live events.
Hmm. We
Yeah,
have Bong
mostly online.
Soplano who said that this episode of the HR Cafe moved and affected me. So thank you for the soft learnings today. We have Ken Somera in the house. Mary Jane Rettig is saying naman na mabait. True naman yung sinabi. Mabait naman pero may sundot na pagiging pasaway. Hate
Hmm.
to terminate because of the talent pero feeling entitled kasi minsan. So, yun din. And then Jeff Egdani is saying, control your words and the hear it. And ano lang, the other question lang is, sometimes when a person goes into a new company, syempre hindi pa niya nakukuha yung loob ng tao. So, pumapasok siya sa isang culture na hindi pa masyadong familiar sa kanya. How would you recommend the newbie HR in coming in and instilling discipline, especially in an organization without any discipline?
Mm-hmm,
Ako.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, Yeah, no? Kasi may
Yes,
mga
no?
newbie.
Oo.
Iba kasi mga newbie eh. Minsan may newbie na mahiyain talaga. Ano, hindi talaga
Mm.
nagsasalita, hindi talaga makikihalubilo. But there's
Mm.
a newbie who's very sociable, who's
Mm.
very, kahit bago pa lang siya, kikilalanin niya na
Mm.
lahat, nakausapin niya na
Mm.
lahat. But regardless of like the personality, introvert or extrovert, I would suggest to build rapport, build rapport with each and everyone. And how do you do that? You do that by asking questions. You ask questions. Probably you want to know what the organizational structure is. Alamin mo yung mga tao sa kada department, know their names. So when you meet, kilala mo na yung mga face nila. You could ask the right questions to this person. And of course, more than communications, then and more than asking questions, spend time
Mm.
uh, getting to know the managers, getting to know um, the people in your team, ano yung mga challenges nila, ano yung mga problems nila na probably you could help out, give advice to, and a lot of communication para maging komportable ka sa kanila.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
I think that's just one thing that will make you feel comfortable, with people in the workplace.
Mm.
Just get to know them, and always talk to them.
Mentor Rona, Mentor Alan, you've done consultancy with companies. And it's always a brand new company, brand new management style, brand new employees, brand new problems. Well, actually old problems. How do you improve rapport, especially when you're coming in as a consultant? Kasi iba-iba talaga yung pinapasukan niyo, minsan di niyo talaga alam. You don't have a lot of
Hmm.
time. What's your strategies to improve rapport?
Cultural change muna talaga. Kasi you cannot you cannot create any impact unless you start with the mind. And the only way to get to
Mm.
the mind is culture. Kaya
Mm.
sa organization development, I think Rona will agree, you really
Mm.
have to study first the status quo, anong nangyari. For example, in one company, mga leaders mismo ang mga pasaway eh. And they're the
Mm.
ones who are maintaining a bad culture. Um,
Mm.
Tapos, siyempre, employees will just follow suit, no? Their
Mm.
behavior is just a reflection of the behaviors of the leaders. So if you
Mm.
start with doing an intervention on the culture, no? At
Mm.
sumunod naman yung mga leader at kinascade, then they will have to model the new behavior. And
Mm.
that should go to the performance management system. That
Mm.
behavior should be at least mga 40% to
Mm.
40, 30 to 40% of the performance appraisal para
Mm.
talagang mag-reflect sa behavior nila. Of course, meron sila mga measurable na hard measures, na hard metrics, pero yung soft skills and soft metrics na may kinalaman sa core values and the culture, that will get reinforced further kapag pinasok mo sa performance management system. Ang bottom line niyan, start with studying the culture muna
Mm.
para malaman mo
Agree.
paano. And rapport will become part of it kasi eventually yun yung effect nun, But
Rapport is pakikisama. Mm.
Correct,
start with the
correct.
mind. Kasi
Mm.
if you cannot do some changes in people's belief system, in people's values, in people's perception,
Mm.
hindi mo mababago yung attitude, hindi mo rin mababago yung behavior and the performance. Ma'am
Mentor
Rona.
Rona?
Agree ako sa sinabi ni Mentor Alan, ni Coach Alan. You start first with understanding. Kaya nga yung mga consultants, and most likely si Sir Alan is ginagawa din ito. The first step that they always do is to conduct an audit. They need to understand first what's happening within the organization before they can affect any changes. And this is something, kasi consultants are on a different, kumbaga different area.
Mm.
Since
Mm.
short term lang usually yung pag-handle with the company,
Mm.
hindi naman to talaga yung forever na ikaw yung mag-guide dun sa company. Usually, once the project is through, you let them go, okay na. But HR
Mm.
professionals and even top management, forever kayong nandyan. Unless, of
Mm.
course, you leave, so you resign or whatever. The thing about affecting discipline within the employees and making changes is that we should not start with wanting to make the change agad. It's a
Mm.
common error that most HRs do, that when they transfer to a company, they wanted to come up with all of these big projects. And I am guilty of this as well at some point in my life. They wanted to come up with big projects. They wanted to make all of these many changes. They wanted people to respect them, follow them, listen to them, but without really understanding where the employees are coming from. Tulad yan na sabi mo, Mentor Tina, di ba? It's just like taking care of a child. Unless the child understands the why, unless the employees understand the why, unless you also understand the why of the employees, no change will happen. And even if a change would happen, it will not be something that would be permanent. They would lapse back. They would go back to
Hmm.
whatever it is that they are used to, kasi hindi naman talaga na hit kung ano ba yung why nila, at hindi
Mm.
mo rin talaga na hit kung ano yung why mo. So
Mm.
kailangan talaga, not only do you understand why you want to do something, you also need to understand where the other people are coming from and ano ba yung why nila.
Yun,
Para
exactly.
any change that you would want to happen is aligned as well do sa kung ano yung why nila. Kasi
Correct.
kunwari, 'di ba pinaka-usual na problema sa HR, attendance.
Mm.
Laging absent. Kaya nga ang dami nating questions about being present on the day after the holiday kasi problema natin ang attendance palagi. And the
Mm.
first instinct ni HR is, ay, memohan. Let's give an
Mm.
NTE because they did not report for work after the
Mm.
holiday. But have
Mm.
you asked yourself, why is this happening? Why
Mm.
is it that they are absent after the holiday? What's happening? Or
Mm.
let's say tardiness, palaging late si
Mm.
employee. Why is the employee always late?
Mm.
Doing an NTE will not resolve the
Mm.
issue long time, long term, kung hindi mo alam kung bakit ba siya nagiging tardy in the first place. Ang
Mm.
maa-address mo lang is yung kumbaga yung nakikita mo lang na
Documentation.
problema.
Yun.
Not necessarily yung root cause ng problem. What's the root cause of the problem? What's happening to the employee? Once you're able to answer that, once you know what is happening with the employee, then you can apply the necessary action to
Yun natin.
effect
Mm.
discipline sa employee and to
May
make
Yun.
time
sure
na
na
humihina
long
talaga.
term yung kung ano yung mangyayari sa kanya or
Yun.
kailangan gawin. Yun yung ano ko doon. Yung take ko
Dagdag
diyan.
ko lang, ma'am, no? Yung discipline is more on behavior modification eh. It answers the question, what is the ideal behavior? Kaya gagawin nila, tinuturo mo, ito ang tama mong gawin ha, what? Pero yung why, pag hindi mo in-explain, why should you do that, hindi niya ma-maintain.
Correct.
Mamimemorya niya yung behavior because you address the what is desired, what is the ideal behavior. But the question, why should I do it, should be explained. Why? Kasi yung why, yun yung belief system ng tao. Kapag
Correct.
naipaliwanag mo sa kanya, naniwala siya, na-convince siya na yun pala ang dapat niya maging pag-iisip, you are attacking the culture in the
Mm.
why. Kaya
Mm.
yung intervention natin holistic palagi. Not only the what,
Mm.
but also the why. Si Ma'am Jonecca nawala niya yata.
Na
Oo.
internet lang, so she's coming back very soon.
Okay,
Sa akin lang,
so
just to share my experience, when I first started managing people, when I saw the inefficiencies and the yung disobedience, napipikon ka, nagkagalit ka, kasi di ba they're adults na. Tapos clear naman na alam nila yung rules and regulations, and still they do it. So it's very easy for any HR or business owner to feel anger against that person because we feel that person sinasadya yung ginagawa. Yung pag hindi pagsunod is sinasadya nila. Pero nang nangyari yun, sumabog talaga ako, sigaw ako ng sigaw. But I realized very soon that when you do when you are in a management role, you have to be likable. If you're not likable, people will not stay with you, no matter how much you pay them. A lot of people think, hey, parang I don't need to be likable, I just need to perform. I just need to push people to do what a company wants. Pero in the Philippines kasi, matigas ang ulo ng Pilipino. The more na tapagalitan mo, the more natitigas sila. Ayaw nilang magpatalo. Papasok
Mm.
silang tamad, lasing, whatever, magpapasaway sila para lang asarin ka. Diba? And that's very Filipino. If you go elsewhere, you don't get employees na papasok lang para asarin ka. Pag pinagalitan mo, magpabago. Or pag galit sa'yo, ilalabas yung galit. Pero dito sa loob ang galit eh. Pag galit ang employee sa tao, sa boss niya, hindi niya, papasok pa rin yan. Pero lahat ng sinabi ng boss niya, hindi niya gagawin.
Mang-aasar.
Mga asar lang, and okay lang namang asar. Kahit na anong NTE mo, hindi niya papansinin yan, lalo siyang titigas. And sa akin, as an HR and business owner, you don't want people to fight civil war sa loob ng company mo. Kasi nangyayari, nag-aaway-away na sila sa company. Hindi na about sales, hindi na about operations. Lahat na ng mga pinag-uusapan, chismis ng 2 tao or 3 tao. Then it becomes the war of the 2 or the 3. It's no longer about the business. And so we go back to discipline. If you want to install discipline in your people, you need to have them like and respect you first. Because if
Correct.
they don't respect you, even if you're doing the right thing, they won't follow you. Because nobody wants to follow you if they don't like you. Kasi ibig sabihin, sila yung talo, ikaw yung panalo. So balik tayo dun sa sinabi nyo kanina, Coach Alan, kasi it's talaga, you need to look at the dignity. Pag pinayamang Pilipino, hindi yan susunod sa'yo.
Oo.
So you have to
Oo.
be very close. So tama yung sinabi ni Ma'am Jonecca na rapport is very important in instilling change.
May
Ma'am
maganda
Ana?
tayong question dito from Mary Jane Reti, ay Mary Jane Retig, dinagdag ko yung pangalan niya, sorry. Employees have always late, example, as HR, aalamin po natin reason why always late to feel that we understand as HR. All process na gawa na, pero dahil magaling yung employee, hindi ma-terminate. What is the ideal process to do? Terminate.
Mm.
Sorry, terminate. If everything has been exhausted, if all avenues have been exhausted to effect change at wala pa rin nangyayari at talaga matigas ang ulo ni empleyado, terminate. Kasi you don't sacrifice the rest of the team for just one person. Dahil lang sa productive yung person. It sets the wrong message to the rest of the team na basta performing ka kahit matigas ang ulo mo, okay lang sa company. When you do that, you will have other people who can be productive as well. They will no longer focus on productivity. They will focus on they will no longer focus on the right behavior. They will just focus on productivity. Basta magaling ako, I bring in the numbers, di nyo ako kayang i-terminate. It will send that
Mm.
message, which later on
Totoo.
will be a problem. Kasi yung productivity nila hindi naman wala naman tao na always productive 100% productive. Pag dumating kayo do sa time na hindi na rin sila productive at panay angas na lang because they were previously productive, mahihirapan na kayo
Patay
mag-terminate.
ka dyan.
Mentor
Oo.
Rona,
Lumaki
may
na yung
tanong lang.
sungay.
May
Mm.
tanong lang, very important. Kasi diba, they were talking about performance. Pero you were saying, pag medyo pasaway, bad attitude, it's a terminable offense. Anong grounds po nun? Especially, for example, diba, pagdating sa probationary period, yung requirements kasi usually pag sales ka, it's the quota, right? So, perform well, pero attitude bad. Mayabang, entitled, sumasagot, rude. Like, how do you terminate somebody like that from a probationary status and a regular status? Anong grounds ang pwedeng gamitin ng mga ka-HR natin?
Actually, meron ito sa labor code. This is considered as willful disobedience. When a
Oo.
person has an
Mm.
attitude, it will, at some
Mm.
point, there will be disobedience to the instructions. And instructions
Mm.
ay hindi kinakailangan na 100% related dun sa work. As long as it's a legal instruction, it is an acceptable
Mm.
instruction, and it is related to their employment, and they did not follow, dahil matigas nga
Mm.
ang ulo, that's willful disobedience. So if you say, for example, ang schedule natin ay
Mm.
9 to 6, and they keep
Mm.
coming in at 10 a.m., that and
Mm.
they are willfully coming in at 10 a.m., even if they are productive, that's still willful disobedience. It is a legal instruction from the company na 9 to 6 ka. You did not comply with that. You keep not complying, alam mo na mali yun, pero ginagawa mo pa rin at pinagmamalaki mo pa, that's willful disobedience.
Correct.
Kasi parang sa Pilipinas, HRs don't really take action, hindi pa. Parang minsan kasi pinapabayaan natin. Kasi we say
Correct.
naman, kasi nagpa-perform naman eh. I mean, is that the reason why people have less discipline in the office?
Oo. Kaya ang tingin tuloy, may favoritism ka.
No.
Kasi kasi productive yan. Magpo-produce ng malaking sales sa kumpanya yan. At revenue generating yan. Lumalaki ang ulo ng batang yun, no? Nagiging entitled. At binubuli na yung mga kasama niya. Eventually, nagiging cause siya ng demoralization sa team. And I don't want to tolerate that kind of employee. Oo nga, nagpo-produce ka ngayon. Pero you're creating chaos in my team and the rest of the members are siraning mo yung kanilang moral and motivation because of you. Affected yung kanilang output because of you.
Correct.
So hindi naman kaya ng output mo o yung revenue na generate mo yung target ko for the whole department. So wag ganun. Yeah.
Jonecca, how do you deal with go ahead. Go.
Yeah, sorry. Ayun, so a bad tree will not produce a good fruit. So
Paano naman po pag kunyari yung 'di ba may mga relatives, kapatid, asawa, girlfriend, sila yung nasa loob ng kumpanya, hired by default, pero sila talaga yung pasaway. How can a regular employee
Magandang
instill
question
discipline in a person na malakas because of personal reasons?
Or if yung mismong let's say isa sa mga owners holding a managerial position, sila yung problema. How do you handle that?
Kaya mga girlfriends na malakas yun.
Oo.
Yung mga ganyan talaga. I mean, that happens in a lot of companies na kamag-anak ng CEO, kamag-anak ng chairman, kaya syempre yung kamag-anak naman is very confident that whatever he does, whatever she does, may kapit siya. And usually, pag magpapakilala, hindi na job position, but hindi, kapatid ako ni ganun na magpakilala. So the ego is already there, but if it's affecting the company as a whole, then the board, the upper management would have to decide, the HR would have to decide. And I think naman sa isang company, it's always the HR, diba? Regardless of since yun yung organizational structure natin. And if naman may hindi ginawa, may mga corrective actions naman diba? May mga warning naman, may NTE. And if nag-fail talaga, hindi nag-adapt sa coaching, then this concern has to be raised.
Actually, sa totoo lang, I'm praying for an HR na brave enough para mag-issue ng NTE at saka ng IR sa mga nepotistic hires. Kasi sa totoo lang, even if you follow disciplinary measures, hindi ka pwede tanggalin ng company for actually doing your job and what's legal. Kasi if the company removes you for firing a favorite, na that's constructive dismissal. Sigurado yan yung 1,000% mananalo sa DOLE. Sa NLRC for constructive dismissal kasi you're just doing your job. So sabi ko nga, bakit ang HR takot na takot to go against ang malakas? If you're doing your job, let them fire you. Go! Diba? Parang sasabihin niya, parang NTE mo, I was ordered by my boss not to send a notice to explain to some, tapos gandahan mo yung reply mo, let them fire you, go ahead. Yan yung masakit. And then call June Mendoza. Call June Mendoza, 1,000% mananalo ka sa labor case mo. Diba?
All right.
Right?
Ang talagang challenge ng HR ay kapag mga senior managers na ang walang disiplina.
Mm.
Sila pa yung nagpapasimuno ng mga bad culture. Hindi ko na i-mention pero I know some companies like that. And ikaw, isang HR na talagang HR practitioner na talagang dedicated sa trabaho mo, biglang masishock ka. Paano ko ngayon to um, i-issue ng NTE? Top management or senior manager to. Kaya lang, direct violation of policies, direct violations of code of order and discipline ang ginagawa. Mention ko na, sexual harassment. O anong
Mm.
gagawin mo ngayon, di ba? Ang hirap nun. So, ang ang ginagawa ko, ang madalas na ina-advise ko kung ganyan ha, i-fire mo yung senior manager, meaning, umalis ka sa kumpanya niyan. Ba't ka pa magtsatsaga dyan? Wala kang panalo eh. Kasi the moment na binangga mo yan, siguradong magkakaroon ka ng, they will give you hell. So if I cannot change the culture because of these people who are maintaining the culture, why should I stress myself? I have my life to live, di ba? So I'll go elsewhere. Maghanap ako ng kumpanya maayos ang kultura, ba't ko papatayin sarili ko dyan? Something like that. Fire the company. Don't don't let them fire you. Yun ang point ko lang.
Ako let them fire you and get lots of back pay.
Yes.
Oh,
Tapos
Stress
yung
pa
tipong ano
yun.
pa, no? Inabot ka pa ng 10 years bago nag-decide. Eh, di ba,
ang ganda
ang,
nun.
ang count ng back pay is hanggat hindi nabibigay yung final
Yan ay kung
decision.
kaya mo yung acid test ng napakaraming stress na sasalubungin. So, mental anguish, emotional distress, kakayanin mo ba yun? Baka the moment na makuha mo yung back pain, may cancer ka na. Hindi yata worth it. Something
Pero
like
meron
that.
Dagdag
akong
lang ako
kilala
sa...
Meron akong
Ah.
kilala na illegal dismissal na HR. Siya mismo yung nag-file kasi parang tinanggal siya for doing his job. Nakakuha siya ng 5 million.
Wow!
5
Galing.
million. Ang galing. Ang saya.
Baka have the discipline also not to be too affected by the negative things that's going around you. So sabi ko palagi, bakit kayo nasa-stress, na-anxious, na nade-depress? Diba, all those feelings are valid, but they don't help you solve your problem. And I think that's part of the discipline as well that Ma'am Jonecca is also saying. You need to also discipline your head not to be too nega. Kasi lalo-lalo na sa mga tao, di ba? Pag may problema, paulit-ulit sa utak natin. Alam mo yung nakikita mo na problema sila, na natutoyo sila doon, paulit-ulit sila. Ako ko naman, bakit nasusolusyonan ba yung problema mo? I don't understand. Pero many people don't have the discipline to put a stop to negative thoughts. Not knowing anything that they think na negative is just affecting themselves emotionally, mentally, physically. Pero sila lang yung naapekto. Yung ibang tao, tumatawa naman dyan, not affected at all. Ma'am Jonecca, what do you think? Yung mga nega, girl, mga negas, how do you help them? Kasi nega talaga sila. Matagal na silang nega. Hanggang ngayon, nega pa rin sila. Muted. Ma'am, muted.
Nakamute ka po,
Ma'am,
Miss Jenica.
muted po.
Ayan. Yeah, ayun. It will affect a lot of things, definitely. Because, thoughts become words and words become actions and actions becomes behavior. And behavior becomes your personality. So unless they have that kind of self-awareness that they need to change, that it's not helping them and it's not helping the company, then patuloy-tuloy lang yan sila with their, kasi behavior na personality na eh. So if it's affecting the company as a whole, affecting other people as a whole, I think kailangan ng coaching nito. Kailangan ng kailangan masabihan nito. And of course, para sa kanya naman yun eh. We're not doing this because we think he has to change, blah, blah, blah. But, we're doing this for her or his own good and for the benefit of the company as well. So I think if it's delivered in a way na maiintindihan niya bakit kailangan kong baguhin tong pagiging nega. Anong magiging benefit nito sa akin sa company? Anong change ang mai-implement because I changed this one? Then I'm sure that person will understand. Siyempre.
Last question
May
and
person-
final words. Rona.
May maganda tayong question dito from Mary Jane Rettig again. As HR, nasusukat po ba na magaling ka na HR if employees stay or come and go for short period of time? Kasi sometimes we feel failure because dun sa nangyayari sa loob ng company. Yeah, who'd like to take that question? Ako muna, magko-comment lang ako doon. Attrition rate lang po yan. It doesn't say na magaling ka or hindi ka magaling because attrition rate is affected by a number of things. You as HR, the top management, your compensation and benefits, your corporate culture, a lot of things can affect that. So don't
Economy,
economy, don't let that define who you are. It
yes.
should be something that you should look into, but it should not define who you are as an HR professional.
Beyond your
For
control
me,
yun eh.
I've realized lately, the last couple of years, I've placed a lot of focus on culture, on creating the right culture for the company. Kasi I want people, when they come in, they feel comfortable. Yung when they come in, they're not going in as a battle. They're coming in because it's a place of work. They like who they work with, they like who they work for, and they like being there. They feel that they are in the right place and they're doing what is good, because you need to have your employees enjoy that space, that they're not worrying where they are. Kasi when you create a company with the right culture, with the right, din lahat ng tao magkakapareho. May disiplina, maayos, marespeto, walang bastos, yung kung anong tama, kung anong productive. When you have people like that, that's a very big moat that people don't consider. Kasi when people move to another company, they expect na, ay, ganito din pala sa ibang company, mababait yung tao, hindi ka matatakot na nakawan ka, tama yung benefits, tama lahat. And then when they go to another company, they realize, oh, hindi pala ganun pala. Culture, yung iba pala yung culture sa iba. Ang gulo pala doon, lahat ng tao, backstabbers, malisyoso, hindi magaling ang mga manager. Then they come back. It's not because of just the compensation, but also because of the type of environment that you create. So you have to make sure, if you're looking at attrition, don't look at attrition. Look at culture. If your culture is correct, yung mga umaalis, yun yung hindi bagay. Ay, yung mga tao dito sobrang sipag. From 9 to 6, puro trabaho, walang petics. Aalis yung mga tao. Ay, binabantayan pala na managers yung pinupuntahan ko. 'Di ba? Kailangan pala productive ako. Pag ganun, yung mga tamad, hindi sila tatagal sa'yo. So you filter away the wrong people, but yung mga tao talaga that fits your culture, they'll love it. Because dati sa culture nila, maraming siraan, maraming tamad, maraming pasaway. Pero when they come to you, ay, wala palang ganong klaseng culture. So focus more on what type of company you have instead of the attrition rate. Because if it's the wrong people leaving your company, that's the best thing. Similar with personal life, di ba? Kung maayos kang tao, yung mga track mo, maayos din. Pero kung kunyari magulo ka, yung mga maliligaw sa'yo, magugulo din. Kunyari maayos ka, tapos magulo yung nanliligaw sa'yo, tapos hindi, diba, you don't give in, tapos hindi ka naliligawan, no, tapos sayonara. You will save time because you filtered away the wrong people just by being yourself. And we're now at the end of our show. Can we have Miss Jonecca to final words, then Sir Alan, then ako, then Ma'am Rona.
Ayon guys, I really want to thank each and every one with you, each and every one of you, for staying here, for tuning in, for um, uh, giving time to learn, more about discipline. And I hope by the end of this episode, you will be able to apply it, in your workplace, in your relationships, and in yourself. So I really want to thank you guys for inviting me here. I hope I could do more of these episodes with you. And siguro sobrang last na lang na addition, to what I said or to what you asked earlier, regarding rapport, how to really build rapport. We have this law that we call law of connection, where you have to touch their hearts first before you ask a hand. So just always remember that. And yeah, please check out our international neurolinguistic programming certification. It's happening in June. Classes will start on June 1. If you are interested to know more about the details, please message Tina, Rona, or Alan, or me on Facebook, and I'll send you more details about it. And lamang,
They
guys.
can
Thank you
search
so
from you
much.
from Facebook. Ano, pakisabi kasi I'm sure some other
Yes.
viewers are very interested to know to DM you.
Ay, okay.
Siyempre, 'di ba?
Please message me on Facebook. Oh, naman. Sa Gcash na rin. 0956. Joke
Uy,
lang.
now
But,
hindi yan pang GCash, pang message
Facebook.
yan ha. Yung mga kumain ka na ba? 'Di ba? Good morning, good evening. I watched your show. I loved it. Ma'am Jonecca, pwede ka bang i-message ng gano'n? Please promote.
Ayun. Follow me on Facebook, Jonecca San Pascual, guys. Feel free to message me.
Galing.
Sir
Yun lang
Alan.
po. Salamat po.
Dalawang bagay. Base doon sa episode na to with Ma'am Jonecca's talk also, discipline is saying no to temptations, saying no to distractions. Lalo na ngayon, napakaraming distractions, napakaraming temptation. That is why kapag bumigay ka, when you give in to temptations and you say yes to them, wala na, sira na yung momentum mo. Commitment is um, taking the initiative, the motivation, the power to continue moving forward towards your goal. Okay? So, dual sila. Dual yung dalawang yan at hindi pwedeng paghiwalayin. Applied to the company, to the work setting, nandyan ang discipline na i-impose natin just to remind them that these are the no-nos para they will say no to them, yung temptation sa company, whatever things that they want to violate. Now, yung commitment is actually um, manggagaling sa tao. It should be an initiative coming from the heart of the employees. But our role as HR is to stimulate that commitment by providing them opportunities to um, to practice initiative and sense of ownership, employee engagement ang tinutukoy ko. So, and also giving them responsibilities para yung sense of ownership na yun will result to commitment towards their goals or towards success. Yung last point ko, kasi that's the first one, is about rapport. I would like to quote John Maxwell. Sabi niya, people buy into the leader before they buy into his vision. Kung wala tayong rapport sa ating mga tao, they will never buy into the vision that you are selling them. So, paano mo sila mapapasunod sa gusto mong ideal future kung wala kang rapport? Hindi sila uto-uto. So therefore, you should establish that rapport first so that they would buy into the leader before they buy into the vision. Ma'am Rona.
Ako muna tapos si Ma'am Ron ang magsasarado. For
Sure.
me, do you want to remain in the status quo? If you want to stay as is, where is, if you're happy with where you are, then you really don't need much discipline. Just do what you want and just be happy with the result. But as Ma'am Jonecca is saying nga, you might want to be better tomorrow than what you are today. You might want to have an achievement or something that you're proud of. You might want to achieve that. So if that's the case, you need to change. Hindi mo makukuha yung gusto mo na dinidream mo pag ngayon wala kang ginagawang iba. Kasi kung pareho pa rin yung ginagawa mo, the results will still be the same tomorrow as it is today. So you need to have that discipline and commitment na kailangan mong ibago ang sarili mo. And that entails, sabi nga ni Ma'am Jonecca, sacrifices. You have to forgo some of the things you enjoy in order for you to get something better in the future. It's like saving money. If you keep on spending, you won't be able to accumulate enough money to make a suitable investment. 'Di ba? Kasi konti lang yung pera mo eh. Kung hindi ka marunong mag-save, you cannot buy that house. That's simple. Pwede naman mag-rent habang buhay eh. Wala namang problema. But if you want to buy a house, if you want to be a homeowner to give to your kids, you must start changing your spending habits and income today. And you do it in small increments, and then these small increments do accumulate. But it requires you to really make hard changes today. Okay, so that's one thing. Second is, if you want to instill discipline in others, you must first have discipline yourself. Kasi if you're not a disciplined person, tapos sasabihin mo anak mo dapat maging madisiplina, you're only removing your integrity. Ikaw nga hindi ka nga marunong mag-diet tapos sasabihin mo magda-diet ako. Hindi ikaw nga patamad-tamad ka tapos sasabihin mo magsipag ako. You know? So you have to be authentic in instilling change with others. And once you have that discipline, you've changed yourself, then you can inspire change with others by what Coach Alan and mentor Jonecca has said, by building rapport, by not attacking the other, but by explaining the why and making them realize that what you want for them is good for them. And you're only trying to motivate them to do the right thing because it is really for their benefit. Now, after you've done your part, let them make the choice. If their choice is, I want to change too, because it's really for myself, then that's great. But if they don't follow and they fail, let them fail. Because sometimes it's in failure that they realize they were wrong and you were right. And so long as they don't fail to the point of death, they will come back and they will change and they will be better than where they are today. Let them fail. Let your siblings fail. Let your employees be terminated. If you really care for people, let them experience the harsh consequences of their action so that they learn discipline today and not tomorrow. Because sometimes we love people so much, we don't let them experience the negative setbacks in life. As a result, they never learn the discipline. And after you are gone, that's where they fail the most. And there's nobody to catch them because there's nobody there to save them anymore. So remember, again, 3 steps: self discipline, then discipline others, and discipline yourself that when you love somebody, let them fail as well and experience a setback. Because sometimes it is better for them to fail today while you are still here than for you to save them every time. And then later on, they really fail tremendously. Diba? So that's me. Coach Rona, last point.
Yes, discipline. Bago po yung ano ko po, point ko po, kung si Miss Jonica po ay GCash po yung sa kanya, ako po pwede niyo po akong i-message ng, Beg, gising ka na ba? Kumain ka na ba? Nag-breakfast ka na ba? Tumatanggap po ako ng ganyan mga messages. But, kidding aside, discipline is not something that will happen overnight. Don't expect na just because you have attended today's session or just because you have attended any session for that matter, bukas disiplinado ka na. It's a work in progress. It's always a work in progress. It's always something that you really have to put effort on, exert effort on, in order for you to be able to consistently do something. Because discipline is all about consistency. If you can't do something consistently, then you'd have to work on it to develop that discipline. But apart from that, probably some of the things that I would want to share to our viewers today. Tinitignan ko kanina, alam ko in the past, yung company ni Sir Alan, meron siyang tagline na thinking out of the box. Or it's I don't know if it's Mandela effect just because I keep seeing the logo of may box, may tao, and something. Tama
You're
naman
correct.
yun. Okay, so at some point, alam ko meron yung nakalagay sa ilalim ng logo nila about thinking outside of the box. And HR people, we have to think outside of the box. We usually equate discipline with administrative, with all of these NTEs, NODs, disciplinary action, due process, and that's perfectly fine. But we also have to look at discipline as performance management. We manage the performance of our employees, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. We manage our performance, we manage the performance of our managers. If we keep on looking at discipline as something that's negative, as something that is all about penalties, then people will push back. People will not like that. People will not accept any change that you would like to happen. But if we look at it as a way of managing performance, instilling what's accepted and what's not accepted, people are more willing to listen. Understanding the why, our why, the company's why, and the employees' why will also help us in managing that performance. Minsan kasi iniisip natin na pag discipline, papagalitan, penalize. If you look at it that way, pushback talaga ang mararanasan ninyo. Pushback talaga yung mararamdaman nyo. True, you would have employees na matitigas ang ulo. True, you would have employees na pasaway. But bakit sila pasaway? And look at it from the performance management point of view. Doon mo siya tingnan. Now, if you feel, bakit ganito, parang ayaw nilang sumunod, nadidepress na ako, parang ang tanga-tanga kong HR, parang ang bobo ko as HR, don't do that self-talk, don't do negative self-talk because that will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Any emotion that you experience, that's valid. Emotions are actually neither good or bad. They are just emotions. That's just, you're angry, you're angry. It's neither good, it's neither bad. But what you do when you are angry, when you are happy, when you are sad, that's what's good or bad. Depends kung anong ginagawa ninyo. So if you feel an emotion, if you feel like, parang ang tanga ko naman, hindi ko alam ito. And I do experience that sometimes. Parang, bakit di ko alam ito? Look at it from the point of view. Bakit hindi ko nga ba nalaman? And what can I do to prevent this from happening again? When you focus on your negatives, when you focus on anything that's negative, celebrate also the wins. This is something that I learned from my boss. I'm doing a consultancy work with a company right now. And my boss was a very good, I would say that she was a very inspirational boss. Whenever I do a negative self-talk and I tell her na I feel that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, she would ask me, "What have you accomplished this week? What's your win for this week?" And when I say this is something I think that I did well this week, no, 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 don't say you think. Own it. Minsan kasi tayo bilang HR, it's very easy for us to own our faults, but it's very hard for us to own our wins. Own your wins. Own whatever it is that you have done correct, because that would also help na kumbaga i-push sa inyo at isaksak do sa isip ninyo na may nagagawa kayong tama, hindi lahat mali, meron din kayong nagagawang tama. And when you are able to focus on that, it's easier for you to keep doing that while also changing whatever it is that you need to change. Okay? Ayan. At isa na naman pong Sunday afternoon ang natapos natin. Napakaganda ng ating simula after the Holy
Galing.
Week. Napakaganda ng ating discussion for today. We do appreciate the people who have stayed with us up to this point. Para sa mga team tambay po at yung ating mga team replay, makikita nyo naman po doon sa ating Facebook page at sa Philippines HR Group at sa YouTube channel natin yung ating pong session for today. So i-replay nyo yan. Replay nyo ng replay hanggang sa, uy, maganda itong mga to. Marami ako natutunan dito. Share it. Wag tayong maging madamot sa ating learning for today, and let's start practicing whatever it is that we have learned. We are all going to see you again sa susunod na linggo sa isa na naman pong episode ng HR Cafe. Usapang trabaho, buhay at iba pa. But for now, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Monday na naman bukas. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great Sunday. Bye
Thank you, Ma'am
everyone.
Jonecca.
Thank you, Ma'am
Thank
Jonecca.
you.
Bye-bye.